बरखुरदार, घर सजाना कोई मामूली बात नहीं है।
क्या ले घर के लिए क्या ले, क्या ये भी अच्छा है वो भी अच्छा है, पता नहीं ये यहाँ क्यों रखा है, इसको छोड़ छोटा बच्चा है।
भैया कुछ वैरायटी दिखाओ ना।
देखिए आगे पीछे जहाँ तक जाती नजरें, जो भी दिखता है उसे बैग में भर ले, ये भी वो भी हमको दिखाओ, शॉपिंग करना ना हमको सिखाओ, हमें पता हमें क्या चाहिए है बाबा, तुम बस आगे बात बढ़ाओ।
घर सजाने के लिए कुछ भी लें, पर घर खरीदने के लिए सिर्फ HDFC होम लोन्स।
गाना कैसा लगा?
बराबर।
प्रेजेंटेशन
नहीं, ऊपर वाले फ्लैट के लिए होम लोन
पर ब्रांच विजिट
ऑनलाइन। इट्स द न्यू नॉर्मल।
नहीं, यू डू होम लोन, आई विल डू भिंडी। इट्स द न्यू नॉर्मल।
Morning everyone. Mansi, I think we're ready for the quarterly review. Please take it over.
Right, so quarter one actually has been pretty good for the year, and as far as we're looking at
What's up, bro?
होम लोन।
मैं नहीं जाऊंगी तेरा पेपर वर्क करने।
इट्स ऑनलाइन। इट्स द न्यू नॉर्मल। ओ मेरी बाइक कीज है, वो वापस दे।
पता है, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग। इट्स द न्यू नॉर्मल।
कहाँ?
होम लोन के डॉक्यूमेंट सबमिट करने।
ये सबमिट हो गए
ऑनलाइन,
और ये सबमिट होगा तुम्हारे स्कूल ग्रुप पर।
अरे नहीं यार प्लीज।
ऑफिस कॉल।
कंस्ट्रक्शन लोन माँ, वो अपने प्लॉट पे अपना घर
इंटरनेट पे
ऑनलाइन। इट्स द न्यू नॉर्मल।
न्यू नॉर्मल।
आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं?
शादी वीडियो कॉल पे, वही न्यू नॉर्मल।
We are the fire starters of a new world order. And it's our time in the limelight. We hashtag our goals. The struggle is real. Running after passions. Visions we've seen. We're busy living, loving. You can't tame us, can't frame us. We champion independence. We believe we're a generation raised on dreams. Everything is possible, they said. You repeated the words and live it over and over again. Slow down.
you seek a place to call your own. A haven to return to. Your own little world. A home to withdraw to. Freedom that only you can lay claim to. HDFC Home Loans. अपनी जगह बनाओ.
Dear shareholders, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the 45th Annual General Meeting of Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited through video conferencing or other audio-visual facility. As a reminder for the smooth conduct of the meeting, the members will be in the mute mode and audio and video will be open when they speak at the AGM as per the pre-registration. Please note that, as per the requirements, the proceedings of the annual general meeting will be recorded and available on the website of the company. I now hand over the proceedings to Mr. Deepak S. Parekh, Chairman of Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, shareholders. Let me begin by first apologizing. There was a problem, so we were a few minutes late. But welcome you to this 45th Annual General Meeting. I hope you and your family are safe and in good health. On behalf of the Board of Directors of HDFC and on my behalf, I welcome you to the 45th Annual General Meeting of your company, conducted through a two-way video conference facility. Whilst we have learned to adapt and coexist with the virus, what still remains unknown is the intensity and variance of recurring waves of infections. Clearly, we need to continue to remain guarded, and hence we have opted to conduct this meeting online. It is past 2 p.m. and I've been informed that the requisite quorum is present, and I call this meeting. We have a full quorum of the board at this AGM. Thank you all the directors for joining. During the last financial year, we inducted 2 directors on our board. Mr. Rajesh Gupta is a leading advocate with experience in the fields of banking and finance and real estate. He has been appointed as an independent director for a term of 5 years. Mr. P.R. Ramesh was the chairman of Deloitte India and has over 40 years of experience owing to the association of a few of our group companies and with Deloitte. Ramesh will not satisfy the independence criteria till March 2023, and accordingly he has been appointed as a non-executive independent director of the corporation, liable to retire by rotation. During the year, as per RBI guidelines, the corporation Messrs. SR Bartley Boy and Company and Messrs. GM Kapadia and Company as joint statutory auditors for a period of 3 consecutive years. The representatives of the joint statutory auditors, members of the senior management and the company secretary of the corporation also participating in the meeting. Since there is no physical presence of shareholders, the requirement of appointing proxy is not available to the members of the corporation. The registrars and other documents as under applicable laws are available for online inspection at the AGM. I now proceed with the agenda for the meeting. In accordance with the circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI, the annual report and the notice convening this AGM were sent through email to members whose email addresses were registered with us. The notice and annual report are also available on our website. The corporation has taken steps and efforts to enable members to participate and vote on items considered at this AGM. There are no qualifications, observations, or comments on financial transactions or matters which have any adverse impact on the corporation in the joint statutory auditor's report and also in the secretarial auditor's report. Accordingly, the same are not required to be read. You would also have read the annual report and have assessed both the standalone performance of your corporation as well as the consolidated performance during the last financial year. I trust you have also read the notice and are aware of the resolution proposed to be passed at this meeting. On April 4th, 2022, the boards of HDFC Bank approved a scheme of amalgamation subject to requisite approvals. The board of HDFC Investments Limited and HDFC Holdings Limited have also approved the merger of their respective companies with and into the corporation. We have already articulated in detail the reasons for the proposed merger in the annual and through other public disclosures. We have made applications to various authorities such as the Reserve Bank of India, SEBI, IRDA, stock exchanges, and the Competition Commission of India, which are presently under consideration by the respective authorities. There is a sequence of approvals required prior to the National Company Law Tribunal, NCLT, convening a meeting of shareholders for approving the merger. Till the effective date of the year, the corporation will continue to carry on business in the normal course as an NBFC in the housing finance category. As I mentioned, there will be a separate meeting convened for shareholders to address issues on the merger. To ensure that we adhere to the requisite process as laid down by the law, I need to categorically state that this AGM is convened solely for the adoption of the financial results of the corporation and other resolutions pertaining to the corporation as specified in the notice. I therefore request all shareholders to kindly grant us patience and discussions at this AGM only to issues pertaining to the performance of your corporation, while issues of the merger will be taken up separately in another shareholder meeting where ample chance to talk and ask your questions at that time. So now let me turn to the highlights of the financial year 2022. Despite the challenges by recurring waves of COVID-19 infections, lending operations of the corporation continued seamlessly. Much of it contributed to the ability to stay connected with customers by leveraging on the corporation's digital platform. The demand continued to be strong for both the affordable housing and segments. During the year, individuals and individual disbursements grew by 38% and 7% respectively. The average size of the individual loans stood at 33 lakhs during the year compared to 29.5 lakhs in the previous year. The management as at March 31st, 2022 at 6,53,902 crore as against 5,69,894 crore in the previous year. During the year, Reserve Bank of India revised the norms for reporting of non-performing loans. Based on the revised RBI norms, the gross non-performing loans as 31, 2022 stood at 1,741 crore. This is equivalent to 1.91 of the portfolio. During the financial year, there was a significant improvement in the overall asset quality and reduction in credit costs as well. Based on the earlier norms, the gross non-performing loans would have been equivalent to 1.74% of the loan portfolio as against 1.98 in the current as against 1.98 in the previous year, reflecting improvement in asset quality during the current year. The provisions carried as at March 31st, 2022 stood at 13,506 crore, which is equivalent to 2.38% of the exposure. The standalone profit after tax for the year ended March 31, 2022 was 13,742.18 crore. Given the changes in the global macroeconomic environment, increased geopolitical tensions, supply chain disruptions, rise in commodities, withdrawal of accommodative monetary policies across the major central banks globally, and concerns of intensified inflationary pressure, I think it is important to understand where it stands against these global headwinds. Global growth is now expected to slow down sharply to 3% only. Developed countries such as US, UK and the European Union have inflation at 40-year highs and are facing a cost of living crisis driven by sharp increases in and food prices and other induced disruptions. While growth expectations in India too have been tempered, India is still expected amongst the fastest growing economies, with GDP growth rate estimated at above 7% for the current year. India's growth, as the shareholders are aware, is largely powered by domestic consumption. The government is committed to increased capital expenditure. Agriculture growth has remained strong. Food grain production at 316 million tons is at a record high, and unlike where it is today, India has ample buffers and thus no concerns on food security at all. Capacity utilization levels are now at 75% and up, which is the near point where fresh investments will begin. India's public digitization initiatives and IT skills have been recognized globally. The country is also expected to play a leading role in innovation, and large investments are being made in renewables, green hydrogen and other components of clean energy. All these factors that I've mentioned above augur well for India's growth potential. The mood is somewhat somber, largely because of the volatility seen in the stock markets in India. Foreign portfolio investments have been risk-averse and selling aggressively, largely to cover losses made in other emerging markets. Fortunately, in India, domestic institutional investors and increased retail has helped support our equity markets. It is important to recognize that unusual measures were taken for unusual times during the pandemic, and these measures are now being withdrawn in a calibrated manner. In India, while inflationary expectations are likely to remain above RBI comfort zone of 6% over the next 3 quarters, India's increase in inflation rates is not because of excess demand. The root of India's current inflation is supply side related. largely driven by higher oil and commodity prices, which in turn is amplified geopolitical tensions. Once supply chain disruptions ease, India's inflation rate is also likely to temper downwards. Credit must be given to the government and the RBI, who are working in tandem to rein in inflation and ease the burden on the common man. Now, as far as home loans are concerned, we've had an exceptionally good run with strong demand for housing, coupled with interest rates at all-time low. As you would recall, in the month of March 2022, HDFC had recorded its highest number of loan receipts at over 86,000 in 1 month, individual applications. I continue to maintain that despite changes in the macro environment, the growth potential for housing in India remains immense. Property prices are seeing measured increases to the extent of the rise in input costs. Yet, developers are unlikely to opt for sharp increases because they recognize that outpricing home buyers and having large stocks of unsold inventory is counterproductive for them. There has been consolidation and cleansing, so to speak, in the Indian real estate space. The weaker players have been weeded out of the market. Recently, new launches have been much stronger, reputed developers, and this has meant that home buyers too have the confidence to once again opt for under construction properties rather than safe and only projects. 6 years of has helped and also empowered home buyers. And real estate in India will continue to be on an upcycle. Now let me address the issue rates during the peak of the pandemic. The RBI reduced the repo rate by 115 basis points in quick succession, besides other liquidity measures to support the economy. This position is now being unwound. It was unrealistic to believe that such low interest rates and high levels of surplus liquidity would sustain. The reality is that markets began to pencil in expectations of a policy increases in October 2021, when the variable reverse repo began aligning with the repo rates. The RBI has front-loaded its policy hikes, and as RBI has rightly articulated, a withdrawal of its accommodations to ensure inflation reverts to the RBI's target range, whilst also supporting growth in the economy at the same time. The demand for housing is unlikely to be impacted by interest rate increases. In fact, current interest rates on home loans are still below pre-pandemic levels. Further, a home loan is for a long tenor, and during this period, they are bound to be both upward and downward interest rate cycles. So during the quarter ended 30th June 2022, retail business of the corporation has continued to perform well. Since there has been a lot of commentary on the impact of rising interest rates on NBFC, let me in the context of the current environment. This is important because the manner in which interest rates have moved resulted in some transmission lag, and this may have a short-term impact on margins, largely in comparison to the corresponding quarter of the previous year. So when the Reserve Bank increases interest rates, then for us, our cost of borrowing goes up immediately, but there is a lag, a few months lag before we can increase the interest rates. So there's going to be a marginal, there is this transmission lag, and so there will be some impact on our margins for a quarter or so. We expect stable spreads and margins going forward. Reverting to issues pertaining to the AGM based on the company, The Board of Directors has recommended a dividend of 30 rupees per equity share of face value of 2 rupees each for the financial year 2022. This compares to a division of 23 per share in the previous year. The payment of dividend will commence from Friday, that is tomorrow, July 1 onwards, subject to passing of the resolution today. The corporation had provided e-voting facility for its members to cast their votes on the proposed resolution to be passed today at this AGM. I'm not going to go through each and every resolution. To facilitate the members who could not cast their votes through remote e-voting, the corporation has offered the facility of e-voting during this meeting through the e-voting portal of NSDL, and it shall commence after the conclusion of the question session. There will be no resolution by show. I would now like to invite questions, if any, from the shareholders who have registered themselves to speak at this meeting. As we have over 30 speakers, I would request all speakers to please restrict their speech to a maximum of 3 minutes only. And I also request our shareholders to be, apart from being brief, restrict your questions only on the matter set out in the notice, the annual accounts, and the operations of the corporation for the year gone by. We will answer all your queries after all the shareholders have asked the questions. And before I request the moderator to read the names of the speaker shareholders in order of their registration, I would just like to submit that I am not in the way, and hence request our Vice Chairman and CEO, Keki Mistry, to answer the questions. Thank you. Over to you, the moderator.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. I now invite our first speaker shareholder, Mrs. Ashalata Maheshwari, to unmute their audio and video and ask their question. In the interest of time, may I request you to please restrict your questions or comments to 3 minutes? Ms. Maheshwari?
हेलो चेयरमैन साहब, मेरी आवाज आ रही है जी?
आ रही है।
अच्छा जी, श्रीमान चेयरमैन साहब, मेरे सभी डायरेक्टर भाई, मेरा नाम आशा लता माहेश्वरी, आप सबको मेरा सादर नमस्कार है। आपसे चेयरमैन साहब रूबरू मिलने की मेरी बहुत इच्छा थी, क्योंकि जब जब आपसे मिलते हैं ऐसा लगता है जैसे कोई त्योहार सा आ गया है, लेकिन आज के वातावरण की वजह से 2 साल हो गए आपसे मिलना नहीं होता रूबरू। फिर बैलेंस शीट पढ़ी, परफॉर्मेंस तो हमेशा की तरह बहुत बढ़िया है और बहुत आपको मुबारक भी मैं देती हूँ, और बैलेंस शीट में भी आपने बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया है। आपको ज्यादा समय नहीं लेकर मैं आपका टाइम खराब नहीं करूंगी, पर चेयरमैन साहब 1-2 बातें तो पूछने दीजिए। मैंने HDFC और बैंक में मर्जर के बारे में जब पढ़ा तो मैं दंग रह गई। आज 45 साल HDFC के हो गए, बस 5 साल में गोल्डन जुबली मनाते तो अपने को बहुत कुछ सोचकर अच्छा लगता। ये कदम आपने जो उठाया है मर्जर सभी के हित में रहेगा, मैं फुल सपोर्ट आपको करती हूँ। आप जो भी करेंगे वो कोई गलत काम आपने ना तो किया है और ना ही कुछ करेंगे, और आपको भी थोड़ी तो तकलीफ हो रही होगी। चेयरमैन साहब, ये जो मर्जर है हम सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं और खुश है आपके काम से। देखिए, कभी कभी जब लड़की को पैदा करते हैं, बड़ा करते हैं, उसको विदा करते हैं तो दिल तो दुखी होता है और उस वक्त रोना भी आता है, तो जरा आपको भी दुख हो रहा होगा, और थोड़ा तो हो रहा है लेकिन फिर भी बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है। चेयरमैन साहब, आप चेयरमैन साहब, क्योंकि आप जैसा बड़प्पन कहीं मैंने नहीं देखा, आप जैसा सज्जन पुरुष मैंने कहीं नहीं देखा, आप जैसा सज्जन और आप जैसा हर आदमी सरल स्वभाव वाला मैंने कहीं नहीं देखा अपनी जिंदगी में। चेयरमैन साहब, कंपनी के प्रॉफिट जबरदस्त है और डिविडेंड भी आपने बढ़ा कर दिया है। इस बार मिस्त्री जी आपको बहुत बधाई और दुआ करती हूँ। इस हर हर खुशी आपको हो। और ये मैं मिस्त्री जी को इसकी कहूंगी कि उन्होंने इस पर बहुत काम किया है। हर खुशी आपको हो, महक उठे वो महफिल जहां आप हो मिस्त्री जी। कोई भी वक्त हो पर आप उदास ना हो। खुदा करे मिस्त्री जी जन्नत से भी जिंदगी आपकी अच्छी हो। और चेयरमैन साहब, बस 2 शब्द और बोलने हैं मुझे। मिस्त्री जी, मैं आपको कभी नहीं भूलूंगी। हर साल आकर आपके साथ में चाय पीती थी। आपने आगे के लिए क्या सोचा मेरी चाय का? मेरा हमेशा के लिए आपको बहुत बहुत आशीर्वाद है मिस्त्री जी। मैं दोनों डायरेक्टर जी का भी स्वागत करती हूँ, गुप्ता जी और रमेश जी का भी। और यही कहूंगी, फूलों की तरह महकती रहे और सितारों की तरह चमकती रहे आपकी जिंदगी। और रेणु कर्नाड जी की भी मैं बहुत तारीफ करूंगी, जो HDFC को सम्मान देती हैं और बहुत पुरानी है, बहुत उन्होंने काम किया है, उनको भी मैं धन्यवाद दूंगी। और लास्ट में चेयरमैन साहब मैं कहूंगी, मुझे पता चला कि लक्ष्मी रिटायर हो रही है। तो एक बात मेरी अगर हो सके तो सुनिए, अगर उन्हें थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंशन दे दीजिए तो अच्छा रहेगा। बहुत होशियार मेहनती है और थोड़ा एक्सटेंशन मिलते ही उसका बच्चा भी सेटल हो जाएगा। इतना देखिए, आप तो बहुत दान पुण्य भी करते हैं, तो जरा ध्यान रखिए। और बाकी अजय जी को भी अच्छे से रखिए, अच्छी पदवी दीजिए। और चेयरमैन साहब, लास्ट में मुझे ये बताइए कि हमारी जो कंपनी है, एक तो ये कहूंगी चेयरमैन साहब कि मर्जर से पहले एक तो आप जरा एक डिवीजन हमें ज्यादा दे दीजिए, एक तो देंगे ही, एक डिवीजन ज्यादा दे दीजिए, या फिर एक बार एक बोनस दे दीजिए। बोनस तो मैं आपसे मांगती ही थी, पर एक बोनस दे दीजिए। और चेयरमैन साहब, जरा ये मुझे बताइए कि हमारी कंपनी के जो एजुकेशन स्कूल हैं वो कितने हैं और कहाँ कहाँ हैं, और मर्जर के बाद क्या ये भी चले जाएंगे हमसे? इतना जरा बताइए। और मेरी शुभकामनाएं हमेशा आपके साथ में रहेंगी। शुभकामनाएं देते हुए कहूंगी, सूरज का रिश्ता शाम तक, चांद का रिश्ता रात से सुबह तक, और मेरा रिश्ता आपसे पारिक साहब मेरे मरने के आखिरी सांस तक रहेगा। ये मेरी बात का विश्वास करिए। और मेरे को पूरी उम्मीद है, मेरी एक जरा ख्वाहिश है उसकी कि उसको एक्सटेंशन दे दीजिए हो सके तो। बाकी मैं फुल सपोर्ट देती हूँ मर्जर को भी, और सभी तरह से मेरा फुल सपोर्ट है। आप कोई गलत काम नहीं करेंगे, इसलिए मुझे कुछ बोलना भी नहीं है। और फुल सपोर्ट देते हुए मैं धन्यवाद देती हूँ।
थैंक यू आशा लता जी, थैंक यू।
Thank you. Our next speaker, speaker number 2, we are checking the connection and trying to get the participant. Speaker number 3, Ms. Sailesh Mahadevia, has informed us that he would not be attending the AGM due to other commitments. We will therefore move to our next speaker, that is Mr. Kaushik Sahukar. May we request you to please unmute your video and audio and proceed?
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Mr. Sahukar, please proceed.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. First off, I would like to thank Board of Directors for giving me opportunity again to speak in this forum. Many of you will remember me from the conversation of past years, so I will keep both my ask and introduction brief. Myself, Kaushik Sahukar from Mumbai, a qualified and practicing chartered accountant. I have been suffering from dystonia, which has rendered 55% of my body paralyzed, and this impacted my right hand, my right leg, and speech. While I have not let that come in my way of becoming a chartered accountant and practicing, I do request your support in helping me continue to be self-reliant. I hope I'm clearly audible till now. I hope I'm audible, sir.
आ रही है, आवाज आ रही है, बोलिए.
Yes, sir. I was optimistic after our conversation we had last year about me working for our organization on certification work, including SOP 15CB. However, nothing has progressed since. While I understand things may have not progressed due to pandemic situation last year, I do hope that after our conversation today, our organization would start engaging me in this area as soon as possible. Once again, thank you for opportunity to speak today, and I hope to see a positive movement forward. With my ask, I support all the resolution. Also request you to please provide reply for the ask. Finally, will metaverse unfold and transform our enterprises? And let me say, after recent turmoil in politics in our state of Maharashtra, does it impact our business favorably or unfavorably? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Shaukar.
Thank you. We will take a next question from Mr. Gautam Tiwari. Mr.
Yes.
Tiwari, could you please proceed with your question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Very, very आदरणीय दीपक पारेख साहेब. First of all, sir, how are you, sir? केम छो, sir? Good afternoon to you.
Thank you.
A very, very good afternoon to our Deepak Parekh sir and all the team, all eminent and dignified board of directors. My name is Gautam Tiwari and team HDFC Limited. My name is Gautam Tiwari and participating from Mumbai. Sir, as you have said that we have to, you will be taking special meeting about merger. So we will not do anything about merger as you have already requested in your introductory speech. So we will not trouble you with that. Sir, it's really regretting that due to COVID pandemic, we cannot meet physically continuously for these all 3 years. I am grateful to Team HDFC for having allowed me to speak at the AGM of HDFC, this parent company. Team HDFC was very much helpful to me, and I support strongly all resolutions. And so also, especially the resolution number 6, sir, where where Deepak Parekh is supposed to be the director of this agenda. Dear sir, hearty congratulations to you, sir, and Team HDFC Limited for one more year of good success and grand success. I wanted to meet you physically, sir, but due to Corona, this all has changed. For winning various awards and accolades, sir, congratulations to you, Team HDFC and Ajay Agrawal, sir. Ajay ji is doing very good hard work and very humbly dedicated, committed secretary. Received annual reports are very in due time. It is transparent, informative, and very well designed, colorful, clean, and clear. My sincere thanks to the relevant department for this. So, sir, I congratulate you very much for paying the dividend of rupees 30 as usual. Dear sir, HDFC profit is good, sanctions and disbursements are also good, and all companies in HDFC are working to the benchmark. I have no complaints. Sir, I have got very few things which I would like to know, sir, from my end. I'll be highly obliged if you can please answer this. Sir, who would be the, of course, I don't have to ask about this merger, so now I'll omit this. Sir, how many warrants are outstanding now, and what is the last date of exercise? Sir, at what rates the warrants can be exchanged with equity shares? And why no issue masala bonds issued this year, sir? And how was the overseas market about it? Sir, will HDFC Credila and HDFC Ergo be listed soon? Last year I had urged about it and requested about it, sir. Sir, why in-house share transfer agent activities were outsourced? And what will happen to, sir? Now, will there be one more AGM, of course, that you already announced, sir? And, sir, rest all you have announced. With rest all, I don't have to ask anything more. I wish you a very safe, happy, healthy, wealthy, and long life with best of luck and bright future. And first of all, the best of health to you always and all the time, to all the board and all those who are connected with us forever and ever. सर आपने सबको मालामाल कर दिया किसी भी कंपनी में आपका मैग्नेटिक हाथ मैग्नेटिक टच लगने से हम लोग सारे के सारे आज हजारों रुपए से लाखों और लाखों से करोड़ों में आ चुके हैं, फॉर विच आई एम वेरी मच थैंकफुल टू यू एंड ग्रेटफुल टू यू सर फॉर एवर एंड एवर. Thank you very much, sir, for patient listening. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Tiwari ji. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question. That's from Miss Lekha Satish Shah. Ma'am, could you please unmute your microphone from your device and go ahead with your question?
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, we.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, yes, we can hear.
Thank you, sir. Respected chairman, sir. Good all of you. Myself, Lekha Shah from Mumbai. First of all, I am very much thankful to our company secretarial team, especially Shetty ma'am, for sending very good investor services and also sending me the AGM notice well in time in such a difficult situation, which is full of knowledge, fact and pickets in place. Thank you, Chairman sir, for explaining us developed bag. Congratulations for excellent work, sir. Sir, I pray to God that He always shower His blessing upon you. Sir, I would like to ask few questions. My first question is, what is the expenditure observed on our trading program for our employees? We have 4 overseas branches. In which countries are they located? Regarding the merger of HDFC Bank with the HDFC benefits, at time frame, please clarify. So, I would like to say, I strongly support all the resolutions for today's meeting and my best wishes always our company and its prosperity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Lekha ji.
Thank you. Our next question is an audio question from Mr. Ronald Fernandez. Well, it looks like Mr. Fernandez's audio is disconnected. We will try to get him connected. In the meanwhile, we will move to our next participant. That's speaker number 8 and 9. They are jointly connecting Mrs. Celestine Mascarenas and Mr. Aloysius Peter Mascarenas.
Hello.
Please proceed with your question.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, we
Am
can
I
see
audible?
you and yeah, we can see you and hear you.
Okay, very fine. I'm so happy also to see you. You know, it's years now we are meeting, physical meeting. You know, I don't know, even the merger meeting will be physical, and maybe merger meeting, sir, you may not chair it also. You know. So little excuse me, some 1-2 lines to say. I feel that you may not chair that merger court convene NCLT meet, you know. So let me little, I will not ask more. Huh? Okay. Now, respected sir, Mr. Deepak S. Parekh, Vice Chairman, KM Mystery, other members of the board, my fellow shareholders attending this virtual meet, I am speaking from Mumbai. My name is Mrs. C.E. Mascarenas. First of all, I thank our company secretary, Mr. Ajay Agarwal, and his dedicated team for sending me an e-annual report and also registering me as a speaker at my request and giving me all the help and reminding me and also the chorus team. The working is very good. Even the balance sheet is very beautiful. So many facts and figures and photos. Very nice. Keep it up. Now the working is good. Dividend of rupees 30 is very, very great. I only feel now next year onwards, we will not get that 30 rupees or 35 rupees. That is little pinching me, but I will get reward from HDFC Bank, you know. Now, congratulations for all the awards and accolades as documented in the annual report. I also appreciate the CSR work to the community from 36 page to 53 page. About the ESG, now I will not speak. That topic I'll take in HDFC Bank only. Now, of our company with 42 shares of HDFC Bank. So I feel little disappointed. We should have got 25 hours share is the most weighted, like, you know, we should have got at least 75. Anyway, you can consider. Our capital adequacy is also very good. So what will happen to our banks, to our FCs holding in HDFC Life, AMC, and AMC Ergo, and many other subsidiaries we have? So banks, I don't think they can have all this. I don't know. Still, I'm not clear. Now, number three is, when will all these procedure completed? I have, sir, full faith in you, Mr. Deepak Parik. You have always rewarded the minority shareholders with good dividend, with good subsidiaries, listings, and unlocking the value, like in HDFC Life and AMC, I have said, and above all, good market capitalization, which now, after the merger, I know with full faith and with full conviction that HDFC Bank will unlock great value, just like ICICI Bank has unlocked great value after ICICI Limited was merged by KV Kamath, and now ICICI Bank is a leading bank, and I am sure HDFC Bank will take the number one position. My only request is, sir, my only request to you, sir, is you should be at least Emirates, Chairman Emirates of the HDFC Bank, to shower your blessings, just as Mr. Sir Ratan Tata is on many Tata companies. So we need your blessings on HDFC Bank, so that we will see a very great bank in the private sector. Now, number four, we have 3599 employees. Will they all be taken in HDFC Bank with same terms and conditions? Rest, I support all the resolutions. I will cut my speech. I have got lot. If it was physical meeting, I would have come and discussed many things. But now, since it's virtual, time is the constraint. And now, Mr. Mascarenas will speak. I wish you very good health, so that you will always take care of the small shareholders. Thank you very much, and see you in offline. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Mascarenas.
Respected Chairman, sir, very distinguished members of the board, and my fellow shareholders. Good evening to you all. My name is Aloysius Mascarenas. At the outset, I thank the management, our company secretary, and the registrar for sending me the balance sheet, which I received on time. It is full of information and adhering to all the parameters required for a good corporate governance. Our results are very good, as shown in facts and figures in the balance sheet. Our PBT and PAT has gone up, and you have declared a handsome dividend of rupees 30 on the face value of rupees 2. Most welcome, sir. Sir, my few questions are that the effect of merger with HDFC Bank will affect the agents like me who mobilize fixed deposit to HDFC Limited. So by merging with the bank, will the practice of commission go with the bank? Will they entertain us? See, it will support our income as well as the employment. There are thousands of agents who are depending on you, sir, on the company. So we will be jobless, and will not have additional income. Take this point with you and be sympathetic to us. Many questions have been asked by my predecessor shareholders. I would like to know what is our FII inflow with our company. So I would like to stop here, because many questions have been asked by my predecessor shareholders. So I would not come in the way of the other shareholders who would like to speak. So I end my speech here, wishing you personally, all the board members, and more importantly, all the employees, all the very best in the days and years to come. With this, sir, thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mascarenas.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from Ronald Fernandez. He's connected via audio call. Mr. Fernandez, please go ahead with your question.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Am I audible?
Hear you.
Okay. Hello. Yeah, very good afternoon, sir. Chairman, Managing Director, Directors, and media fellow shareholders. My name is Ronald Fernandez. At the outset, first and foremost, I wish to thank the company secretary, Ajay, you and Lakshmi and my teammates for sending the, as well as the chorus team for getting me connected. Of course, no doubt, yesterday was HDFC Life Asset Management, but I couldn't get connected on the line because I could see everybody on the this thing, but I couldn't get myself connected. And of course, starting of speech of yours, Deepak Parekh, you had given an excellent speech yesterday, and the ending part I could get you connected, but it was very difficult. Yeah. Then secondly, I would like to highlight to you, sir. First and foremost, 30th of June 2022. So you have selected the date of the meeting. It's a very good time, and you declared a dividend of 30 rupees. You declared a dividend of 30 rupees because the date was 30th. Had it to be multiplied by 6 times of it, it will become 180 rupees dividend. But we are waiting for that, sir. When you give a dividend of that much amount, that will be very, because the assets and this thing is too much, sir. It is better that you distribute the wealth among the shareholders, so at least they'll be happy and considered. Secondly, item number 6, special business. You are reappointed, you are taking a reappointment term, and you are offering yourself as a non-executive director for a period of another, I think, 3 to 5 years or so. But that's very, very good on your part. So you are eligible for doing that because you have done an excellent job. And secondly, if you look at it, your DIN number 9078. I was speaker number 7, but it got connected to 8 and 9, so it's matching. And then if you look at it, you have the logic in it, that is 7 and 8 is 15 and 9. So either you can bifurcate the balance sheet by having a 9 months report or and 6 months report. So what happened, the load of the book will not be too much, sir, because you're printing every damn thing on it. And it becomes 456 pages. 456 pages is what for me and you, sir. Nothing, plus 20 pages of the pull out of the AGM notice, that is coming to 476. So carrying such a big book, it becomes very difficult, sir. And when you have the 476, I think about my logic number, sir. 7 plus 4 plus 7, 11, 11 plus 6, 17. So when I say number 17, I'm facing only it is number 17. When you're looking at it, you will look at the line. Of course, you're the line of the company of HDFC, which has given a tremendous importance to it, sir. Secondly, also, I would like to highlight to you that 456 pages, what is that to you? It clearly shows that, again, that you should have a balance sheet comprising of 6 months and 9 months. 4 plus 5, 9. So 9 months and 6 months. I think in the near future, it would be a little bit agreeable. Of course, no doubt, we are not seeing each other, but at least during this epidemic period, will come out with the situation. Secondly, sir, I would like to ask you, what is the capex going to be for the next 3 years? I would like to let you, because still you have 48 AGM. And what are you going to have the capex for the shareholders, delegates, and staff employees, right from the stage of the driver to the peon, for another 2 periods of years, that is celebrating your golden jubilee? Because that is very important thing. So 5 decades down the line, 50, it's a big occasion. You should try, I'm not asking for a gold coin or silver coin, whatever it is, or a platinum or a centenary coin, but at least some token of appreciation therein, it will be remembrance. Wow, Deepak Parekh ji ne kya kiya, sab seva ki. And of course, no doubt, your very first covering page, when it is saying actionable intelligence, it's a very good logic, sir. Intelligence is something that you got knowledge of it. Action, you put the work. Okay, when I say the word actionable, able means not able to do action. So when you revert the alphabets of ACTION, it becomes no IT. Okay, only MCA comes in the picture, the last 2 alphabets. So it is no IT. IT is nothing from information technology, IT, and IT technology on the aspect of the knowledge. I would also highlight to you, sir, that you have done a very excellent job in the CSR activities. Of course, not of being standard and experience. But how are you going to help the CSR in the other terms, common social responsibility for the shareholders? Think about it. You have given a very good dividend of 30 rupees, but then you come forward with a dividend, this thing of bonus also. Also, I would like to highlight you now. I have got the news that Lakshmi Shetty is resigning from there. So I would like to consider to you, sir, don't allow to resign. Don't give her
Mr.
an
Fernandez, I'm
opportunity to
sorry to
become a
interrupt. Mr.
independent
Fernandez, I would
director.
request you to please.
Independent director on the. I finished already. Yeah, independent director at least to take on the board. With this, I support all the resolution and thank the management for patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. We will take our next speaker shareholder, number 10, Mrs. H.S. Patel. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Mrs. Patel, we can
Hello.
hear you. Could you proceed with your question?
Thank you, respected Chairman, Mr. Deepak Parekh sir, Mr. K.K. Mistry, our Vice Chairman and CEO. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I am hearing other people's sound voice. Actually, Madam Renu Kannad, our MD, Mr. Sinha, the ex-SEBI Chairman, and other eminent directors on the board. I congratulate the company for the excellent results that the company has come out with. So it is only the company is doing so well under your leadership and the board's guidance that I'm sure we will be in tears when the merger will come. We don't want to miss you, chemistry or Renukanat for that effect. Please let me know about the merger. What will be the ratio that will be offered to the shareholders for the merger between the bank and the corporation? Will there be a separate meet for the shareholders? What is the sound coming in between? Will there be a separate meet for the shareholders and NCLT? Of the shareholders and the company made by the NCLT. Please let me know. Sir, before the merger, please, we will ever remember you, all the directors on the board. Please give us a bonus. Please, it's really high time that before this merger, before we lose HDFC, we would like to have a bonus from your side. This is a company with which I started my first being a shareholder. I started becoming a shareholder for the first time with this HDFC. It has given me a lot of reward. I will remember this HDFC. I'm feeling very bad. I don't wish the merger should happen. Anyway, whatever will happen will always be for the good. I wish the company or all the employees all the very best. I support all the resolutions. Especially resolution number 3, 6, and 7. I'm very much grateful to Mr. Ajay Agarwal and his whole team for being very, very helpful. Always, all through all these years, Mr. Agarwal has been very helpful. I hope we have him in the bank to go further. It was very good annual report that he has given as a CFO and executive director. The chairperson reported was 2019. We are giving us a dividend of 20 rupees. Again, I say with all my heart and all my mind that it was, I feel very bad because it was a very good company. I was really in love with this company. Why the merger is happening, I don't know. It was much 1,000 times better than the bank also, even though the share price of bank has gone up. And because of this merger, HDFC's price has come down. I wish everybody all the very
Ms.
best.
Patel, sorry to
Thank
interrupt.
you.
Could you just hold the mic? Thank you.
Were you able to hear me, please? Were you able to hear me? I'm not able to hear you.
Very
We could hear
faintly.
you.
Very faintly.
Sorry?
Very
Sorry,
faintly.
repeat.
Very, very faintly.
Achha, I wanted to know the ratio with which the merger is going to happen
Ms.
between the
Patel,
corporation.
Ms. Patel, sorry to interrupt. Could you hold the microphone a little closer to you and speak? We can't hear you that clearly.
Achha, now you are able to hear me? Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, it's a bit
Hello?
better.
Please let me know when I'm asking you. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, but what is that sound coming in between? See, this sound is coming.
Okay, now
Okay,
you
anyway,
shouldn't hear that sound. Can you go ahead? Thank you.
okay, I wanted to know about the merger. What will be the ratio? And will there be a separate meet between the shareholders and the company, which can be done by NCLT? And sir, before this merger, would you provide us with a bonus so that we will ever remember you? Will you be on the board of this after the merger? Will you and Mr. Keki Mistry will be on the board after the merger? Will RBI take and hear what we shareholders also want after the merger, or they will be cast aside and they will decide only on their own? Anyway, I support all your resolutions, especially resolution number 3, 6, and 7. The company's results are very excellent. CSR good activities are done. I congratulate the company for all the awards and accolades. We have made good provision of 2.38. The provisions you have made. Companies outstanding loan book is just excellent. 568,363 crore is the loan book. Outstanding loan book. Congratulations to HDFC and all its employees for this wonderful job. And take care for the dividend of 30 rupees. Also एक bonus मिल जाता था merger के पहले. So I will be very grateful. I will remember this. HDFC. This was the company with which I started first as a shareholder, and it has really helped me a lot in my years, in my very difficult times. I don't appreciate the merger. Anyway, whatever God wants, God proposes, man disposes, and man proposes, God disposes. Whatever it will be happening for you, happening for the good. Thank you very much. All the best. And I thank even Mr. Rajay Agarwal for the help and support that he has given all through all this years. And Lakshmi also along with him. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker number 11, Mr. Vinod Agarwal. Please go ahead.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, Agarwal.
Hello. Yep. Respected Chairman Deepak Parekh ji, MP Renu Khanna ji, our CS Ajay Agarwal ji, and our CFO Srinivasan Rangan ji. Good afternoon to everyone, sir. I'm speaking from Mumbai. I voted for all the 10 resolutions sought to be passed in today's AGM. So I'm pleased with the performance of the company. The revenues, the consolidated revenues of 1 lakh. Let us go with the standalone revenue only. 47,990 crores and a PAT of 13,742 crores and a dividend of 30 rupees. And the average loan size was 33 lakhs, and 3,14,000 customers were eligible for a credit-linked subsidy scheme, which impacted was about qualified for 52,144 crores, and a subsidy was from our institution was from our corporation 7,224 crores. So my 2 or 3 observations from the annual report. So it has been stated that past 75 years in 2019. Now you would be 78, I assume so, sir. And with the merger of the bank going through, would RBI have any problems with your superannuation? Or I, as a shareholder, would like you to continue to be the director and an active director of the merged bank, sir, because we are pleased with the performance, and age is just a number. A person's ability to work should be seen by the RBI, not just as number of age, sir. This is what I would suggest, and I request the RBI and do take up the shareholder was asking for you to continue to be as an active director in the bank of in the merged bank, sir. And another objection with the annual report is, since we are mostly in the finance and banking sector, RBI mandates us to write LAK as LAKH, not LSC. In the annual reports, at places where LAK has been written as LSC. In the future, I hope the only future in this company, but in the bank, they should write LAKH, not LSC. RBI mandates it, sir. and I wish the company all the best in post merger, and I wish to see you in post merger, sir. Signing off, Vinod Agarwal from Mumbai.
Thank you. We will move to our next speaker shareholder number 12, Ravi Kumar Naredi. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes, our respected Deepak ji, you are investor role model, respected Keki, Renu ma'am, and all honorable board of directors and employees and fellow shareholders. Sir, it is very good both HDFC and bank is going to merge in future as you are doing serious efforts. Can you tell in this way where we reach? If this is 100-kilometer journey, then how much kilometer we travel so far? Secondly, maximum top management of HDFC, how to mingle with HDFC Bank, do not need diplomatic answer that HDFC Bank will decide. What is clear path of HDFC top talent to merge with HDFC Bank? That answer required by all investor community. That is my question. Thank you very much to give me opportunity.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker number 13, Santosh Kumar Saraf. Please go ahead with your question.
आदरणीय सभापति जी, उपस्थित निधि सदस्यगण और मेरे शेयर भाइयों बहनों, मेरा नाम संतोष कुमार श्राफ, मैं कलकत्ता से बोल रहा हूँ। सर्वप्रथम आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार, रेनू मैडम को भी मेरा नमस्कार, दीपक साहब को भी मेरा नमस्कार और अन्य अधिकारीगण जितने भी हैं उन सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। आशा करता हूँ इस समय आप अच्छे स्वास्थ्य में होंगे और स्वस्थ होंगे। सर, आपको धन्यवाद देता हूँ, काफ़ी अच्छा डिविडेंड देने के लिए मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ और सर काफ़ी अच्छा डिसीजन लेने के लिए भी धन्यवाद देता हूँ बैंक के साथ में मर्ज करने के लिए है। लेकिन मेरा एक प्रश्न सर, अपने मर्ज करने के बाद में अपने HDFC जो शेयर होल्डर है उनको एज ए बिजनेस, नॉट एज ए शेयर होल्डिंग, क्या लगता है आपको, मतलब कितना फायदा होगा, कितना हमें मतलब ग्रोथ ज़्यादा मिली और कितनी हम मतलब आगे मतलब और भी बढ़ सकें, ये बताने का कष्ट करिएगा सर। एक सर आपको ई वेस्टेज जो अपना निकलता है, जो आपके यहाँ जब है कंप्यूटर आदि काफ़ी CD VD का ई वेस्ट, इसको किस हिसाब से आप डिस्पोज करते हैं और किस हिसाब से डिस्पोज करने की आपकी पॉलिसी है, इसके बारे में बताने का कष्ट करिएगा सर। एक रही सर वुमेन एम्प्लॉय की रेशियो के बारे में, तो मैं देख रहा हूँ 3 जेंट्स के ऊपर में 1 वुमेन है, 26% वुमेन है, 70% 4% जेंट्स है। तो इस रेशियो को और कम करने के लिए हमारे कदम क्या होते हैं कि आज तो हमारे MD भी रेणु साहब ही हैं, तो मैं सोचता हूँ अपने विचार जरूर करेंगे कि किस तरह इस गैप को कमती किया जाए। और अभी तो हमारे प्रेसिडेंट भी भारत की लेडीज होने वाली है और अभी तक फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर पिछले कई साल से मैडम है सीतारमन। तो मैं चाहूँगा अपनी कंपनी में भी इस बैंक के रेशियो को कम किया जाए, या फिर बैंक मर्जर के बारे में कि कितना रेशियो रहेगा, इसके बारे में अगर खबर तो बताने चेष्टा करिएगा सर। एक सर डिसेबल एम्प्लॉय के बारे में कहूँगा, इतने करीब 3599 एम्प्लॉय अपने पास कंपनी में है, लेकिन सिर्फ 2 डिसेबल एम्प्लॉय अपने पास में है सर। ये बड़ा कम दिखाता है, जबकि अपने पास 2615 हायर एम्प्लॉय हैं, उसमें 11 डिसेबल एम्प्लॉय है सर। तो मैं चाहूँगा डिसेबल एम्प्लॉय को भी बढ़ने का मौका मिले, अच्छा रहेगा सर। दूसरा सर, ये जो अपने अग्निवीर स्कीम जो अभी गवर्नमेंट ने लॉन्च की है, जिसमें लोग पास हो गए 4 साल बाद में 75% लोग निकलेंगे, तो कई कंपनियों ने अभी से अनाउंस किया कि हम उसमें से अपने लोग लेंगे। तो आपका भी अगर ऐसा बोर्ड ने विचार किया तो करिए, और नहीं तो विचार करके बताइए, अच्छा रहेगा। पहले से अनाउंस करेंगे तो गवर्नमेंट को भी हेल्प मिलेगी और जो एजिटेशन कर रहे हैं उनको भी रहेगा कि नहीं हमारा फ्यूचर सेफ है सर। सर, एक बूस्टर डोज के बारे में क्या कदम उठाएं आपने? करीब टोटल मिला के देखें तो 7000 से 6000 कर्मचारी होते हैं, चाहे वो हायर हो चाहे परमानेंट हो, उनके फैमिली के लिए बूस्टर डोज के बारे में आपने क्या कदम उठाया, ये भी अगर बताएंगे तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा सर। और ज़्यादा मैं कुछ नहीं सर, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक के बारे में क्या कदम उठाने, कल से बैंड हो रहा है, तो उसके बारे में आपने पहले एक जगह मैंने दिखा दी कि आपने उसको ग्लास बोतल और स्टील की बोतल से रिप्लेस किया है। तो मेरी एडवाइस है, अगर कॉपर बोतल भी यूज़ की जाएगी तो काफ़ी होगी। कॉपर के अंदर में ऐसे भी शुद्ध पानी अपने आप हो जाता है, और उसको अपने फिल्टर भी नहीं करने पड़ते, उसके बारे में विचार करिएगा सर। और सर एक वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग के बारे में करना चाहूँगा कि वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग है काफ़ी अच्छी सर। अगर फिजिकल मीटिंग आप करते भी हैं तो आपसे जो रिक्वेस्ट है कि थोड़ा सा सेशन वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस का भी हाइब्रिड का भी रखिएगा, जिससे देखिए नरेंद्र रेड्डी साहब भीलवाड़ा से कनेक्टेड हुए, मैं कलकत्ता से कनेक्ट हूँ, कितना फार डिफरेंस है, फिर भी हम आपके साथ में कनेक्ट अपने दिल की भावना प्रकट करने से। तो मैं चाहूँगा फिजिकल के साथ में एक तो हाइब्रिड का भी सेशन रखिए, जैसे इन्फोसिस वाले रखते हैं, अभी केशवराम वाले ने रखा। ज़्यादा समय न लेते हुए आप लोग की इस लंबी उम्र की कामना करता हूँ, और आपके आपके परिवार जितने भी अधिकारीगण हैं, जितने भी कर्मचारी हैं, जितने भी हमारे कस्टमर आती हैं, उनके परिवार के अच्छे कामना करता हूँ, और भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ भगवान 2022-23 उन सभी के लिए वेल्दी, हेल्थी, प्रोस्पेर और सेफ्टी के साथ बीती। तो जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार।
नमस्कार। Thank you, Santosh ji. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next speaker, shareholder number 14, Mr. Dharav Jamadar. Please proceed with your question.
Good afternoon to all honorable members of HDFC Limited. My name is Mr. Dharo Jamadar. I am a research scholar, PhD Finance from Surat. I congratulate to all stakeholders of the company on having a successful financial year 2021-22. I admire and indubitably agree with the statement of our chairman in annual report that HDFC is not a company, it's a feeling in itself. Sir, I have a certain question which I would be glad to if you help me answer. First, how many branches are we going to open in this particular financial year? Second, are we going to raise money via a completely new financial products which we did earlier also, like masala bonds, from abroad? Third, what retention strategy are we going to apply for the employees apart from ESOPs that has been recently granted to them? And what has been the average increment in our company? Fourth, which region of India in particular do you think will give us the most revenue in this particular festive season? Fifth, how has been the sentiments of customers and investors post this higher interest rate cycle in India? Sixth, can you please share the capital structure, that is the share and cost of capital sources for us in the last financial year? And last request, sir, that I had my first job in HDFC Limited itself, but due to my further studies, I had to leave the particular job. Now I want to rejoin my corporation and give my best to the corporation and take it to the next level. I would be I would be thankful to you if you please update the career portal and help me in finding one appropriate job. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question that's from the line of Deepak Kapoor. Mr. Kapoor, may we request you to proceed with your question? Mr. Deepak Kapoor, request you to please unmute your microphone and proceed with your question. Yes, we can see you, Mr. Kapoor.
But no, it's already unmuted.
Yeah, we can hear
We
you.
can see you and hear you now. Please proceed.
You can hear us now. Well, excellent. Thank you so much. Mr. Parekh, unfortunately, sorry, I was not aware that we could not ask the merger questions. It's very difficult these days to talk about HDFC Limited and HDFC Bank without asking anything about the merger. So all my questions were related to the merger. I'll have to truncate them and see whatever best I can ask you and use this opportunity. Firstly, I would like to give my note of thanks. It is great to see you at this stage of your career, Mr. Parekh, to take one of the biggest challenges of your life in seeing through this merger between HDFC Limited and HDFC Bank. I'm confident with your vast experience of building and running the largest mortgage business in India, you will successfully integrate HDFC with our own subsidiary with the bank. And I'm also sure that the senior relationships you have built over the years with your experience and wisdom in the financial services industry and in the regulatory authorities will come in handy in the next few months. I would also like to give my special thanks and appreciation to Mr. Keki Mistry, who has been in the forefront of HDFC Limited's performance over the years and has very eloquently every now and then been explaining the dynamics of the mortgage businesses to the markets. He has shown exceptional performance of the business during the pandemic years, and he's always been positive on the growth of the home loans business during the last few tough years. He's also been at the forefront of talking to investors and shareholders at regular intervals, and I would like to thank him for his accessibility and time at all most of the occasions. I'm hoping he will continue to provide exceptional leadership in the years ahead in the combined entity on the board. Now, coming to some questions, I'm sorry I don't have many which are not related to the merger. I can just say that perhaps it might be great, Mr. Parekh, if you can, when you sort of take up these answers, if give us a little bit of flavor on how the RBI approval is progressing as to some approximate timelines when we expect an RBI approval to come through, and how is it going with respect to the discussions with them, especially around the dispensation requested on the statutory requirements and the glide path which you have requested RBI. So a bit of flavor on that will be very useful. Currently, the other thing I can just say is that we have seen a lot of FII selling in the markets, and obviously since we were at one stage 72% FII, and now I think in the annual report I saw this time it's about 68.9% FII holding, which shows that it is impacting us and our valuations. I wonder, given the strong strength of the domestic institutions in buying and sort of propping up the markets, including retail shareholders, what is our strategy going forward till the time we merge in terms of attracting domestic institutional investors to our stock and our organization to invest in us? So I think that is something we, given the inflation, which is going to be very high in the US for time, at least for another year and a half, we don't know how the FII situation is going to pan out and whether they're going to return to the markets in the near future. So, and given the strength of the domestic institutional investors and the mutual funds, etc., and the inflows, I think it might be a very great idea for us to have a look at them and get them to invest in our funds. I know it's not easy given the exchange, ETF, and all that kind of investments which happen. So pretty much, I won't take more of your time. Given the fact that the merger questions are going to be taken up separately in a separate meeting, perhaps once we come to know when that meeting is, one could participate in that. But I have 2 or 3 more merger-related questions, which, as you have said, you would prefer that to be taken up separately. So other than that, thank you very much for your time. And I really appreciate all the good work which is being done by everybody in HDFC Limited.
Thank you, both. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from speaker number 15, Mr. Aspi Bisania. Please proceed with your question.
Chairman sir, can you see me and hear me?
Yes, Aspi. Very
good. Sir, it's nice to see you again, and I hope you continue to remain here even at 77 and 87.
Yeah.
Sir, you've done very well in this year also. I would like to know, after merger, what will be the ranking of our bank? It will be what number? Because there are so many other big banks also. And continue to do well. All the best, because everybody has said so much about the company. I would like you to just take care of the unpaid dividends, which are unnecessarily going to IEPF. Thank you, sir, and all the best.
Thank you. Our next speaker shareholder, Mr. Hiranand Kotwani, has informed that he would not be attending the AGM due to other commitments. We will now move to our next speaker shareholder. That's number 17, 18, and 19, Ms. Nirupa Sharad Kumar Shah, Ms. Sureka Sharad Kumar Shah, and Mr. Sharad Kumar Jivraj Shah. They're all jointly connected on an audio call. I will just unmute their audio. Please proceed with your question.
Hello. Hello, Chairman sir. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm very happy with our company secretary because there are lot of meetings. So he writes a separate letter on 17th. He has written one letter and asked me to make registration so that I need not forget all these things. Another thing what I wanted to tell you that what he has done for me that I will come to know tomorrow, which that is why I am not able to tell you today. But one thing is definite, his service from your department is excellent, secretarial department, and whether you have got own share department or whether link time, it doesn't make definitely difference because when Ajay is there, there is no problem. Sir, another thing I refer page number 309, 308, 167, and what I found, sir, you have saved financial cost from in the order of 1,850 to 2,000 crores, and you have saved impairment cost of around 1,000 crores. And also, what you have done a very good thing that you have sold Bandhan shares, which Bandhan shares. So we got 1,500 crores, and this amount now what happens is above our employment cost. So practically, employment cost for us is nothing or zero. Another thing what I wanted to tell you, because of this, what has happened, our PAT is 4 years highest, and the profit per employee is also highest. And I support resolution number 6 and 7, sir. And you were a director in Indian hotels. You resigned from 3 years back. But if I referred their balance sheet, and the beauty of that balance sheet is the company is out of all problems because of the right issue and QIB, and their complete debit is removed. So what I feel that each and every company, and whether it is Tata company or whether it is any company, go for right issue QIBs to see that debit is absolutely zero, sir. And my last point is, sir, dividend payout ratio. Our dividend payout ratio is only 24%. TCS share price is 3,200, dividend payout ratio is 43%. Asian Paint price is 2,600, payout ratio is 58.5%. HUL, you were chairman earlier, price is 2,300, payout ratio is 90%. Colgate 1,500, payout ratio is 100%. And the ITC, the price is 270 and the payout ratio is 110%. So what I'm looking here, and another thing, if I see page number 440, the share price in November 21 was 3,025, and the today price is something like 2,200 or 2,300. So really, my worry is whether you merge company or you don't merge company. What is my finally when we support companies mainly because it's the share price and the dividend. And my feeling is that because of the merger, my amount of dividend definitely will come down. So I really from that angle, I am not with you for the merger. You may say that the company will do well or something like that. But this is only the point from once you increase share price, once you increase dividend, definitely I don't have anything related with the merger, whether you do it or you don't do it. My interest is only the market price and the dividend. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity. And why I have to speak of the voice or is basically my experience. Yesterday also Bombay Dyeing and today also HDFC, where chorus is there is a problem in voice. So, and rest of the meetings I do not have any problem. So please look into this issue and request chorus people to see that this voice problem, audio problem does not arise. They are really good people. They help people. They also put me today and yesterday also on mobile. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to our next speaker shareholder, That's Ms. Shobna Mehta. Request you to please proceed with your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Respected Chairman Sri Deepak Bhai, Vice Chairman and CEO श्री केकी जी, एमडी श्री रेणु जी, अन्य मेरे जाने माने डायरेक्टर भाई बहन, मेरा नाम शोभना मेहता। सर, नोटिस वेल इन टाइम मिली, हमारे सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट ने ईमेल के थ्रू सॉफ्ट कॉपी वेल इन टाइम भेजी और हमारे कंपनी सेक्रेटरी श्री अजय जी ने बैलेंस शीट काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव बनाई है। जर्नी ओवर द इयर्स पेज में ईयर 1978 से लेकर 2022 तक का कई इवेंट्स की कलरिंग फोटोग्राफ की जुबानी कंपनी की कहानी बताने की पूरी कोशिश की है। सो मैं कहूंगी अजय जी और उनकी पूरी टीम को धन्यवाद देते हुए वेरी वेल डन, वेरी गुड, कीप इट अप। सर, रिजल्ट देखिए एक्सीलेंट और एनकरेजिंग परफॉर्मेंस दिखाए हैं और अच्छे रिजल्ट को देखते हुए आपने हमारा डिविडेंड भी इंक्रीज करते हुए 23 रुपीज से 30 रुपीज पर शेयर, 2 रुपीज फेस वैल्यू पर शेयर रेकमेंड किया है। सो सर, कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन टू यू और योर एंटायर टीम एंड गुड विशेष देते हुए हमेशा की तरह कहूंगी, डे बाय डे आपकी खुशियां हो जाए डबल, आपकी जिंदगी से दूर रहे हर ट्रबल, भगवान आप सबको रखे बिल्कुल फिट। अब आपकी कंपनी में और आपकी जिंदगी में आने वाले हर दिन हो सुपरहिट। सर, मर्जर के बारे में सुना, शुभकामनाएं दूंगी। मर्जर के दिन, मर्जर की मीटिंग में मर्जर की बातें करूंगी। आज एजीएम है तो मर्जर की बातें ज्यादा यहाँ ठीक नहीं है। और सर, कहूंगी दीपक भाई, आप तो बड़े दिल वाले हो। अभी मेरे आगे स्पीकर ने कहा कि हमारा पे आउट रेशियो थोड़ा पुअर उनको लगा है, तो मैं ये कहूंगी दीपक भाई कि भले आप कैश नहीं देना चाहते हो तो कहूंगी तेरी ऊंची शान है मौला, मेरी अर्जी मान ले मौला, मुझको भी तो लिफ्ट करा दे, बिफोर मर्जर एक बोनस दिला दे। दीपक भाई, जहां तक आपको जानती हूँ सो कहूंगी, मैं आपको और आपकी टीम को जानती हूँ तो कहूंगी कि मुझे पूरा फेथ है कि आप जो भी करोगे वो कंपनी और शेयर होल्डर के हित में होगा। और सर, जहां फेथ होता है वहां सवाल नहीं किया करते। सो आज कोई क्वेरीज ना करते हुए आज आपने जो रेजोल्यूशन रखा है वो सभी में फुल्ली सपोर्ट करते हुए कंपनी के लिए शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ कि हमारी कंपनी दिन दोगुनी रात चौगुनी तरक्की करती रहे और मर्जर भी सक्सेसफुल और सुखदायी रहे। लास्टली, मैं आज की ये एजीएम में जुड़ने के लिए मैं श्री अजय जी, श्रीमती लक्ष्मी जी और कोरस टीम को भी धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि उन्होंने रिमाइंड भी किया है और मुझे रजिस्ट्रेशन में रिक्वेस्ट मैंने भेजी थी तो मेरा नाम रजिस्टर भी इन टाइम क्लियर कर दिया है। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच, विश यू ऑल दी बेस्ट। अब मिलते हैं ब्रेक के बाद। शायद एक डेढ़ साल लगेगा ना सर मर्जर को, खाली यही सवाल है कितना टाइम लगेगा मर्जर मीटिंग में आने के लिए। Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll proceed with our next question. That's from the line of Tamal Kumar Majumdar. Please proceed with your question.
Good afternoon, Parekh Saab, Mistry Saab, Mrs. Karnad and other directors of the company. Myself, Tamal Kumar Majumdar, equity shareholder from Kolkata. For the last 3 days, I am suffering from viral fever and bedridden really. But it is always a pleasure of attending a meeting chaired by you. So I thought of attending this meeting despite my health-related issues, sir. My special thanks to our company secretary, Mr. Ajay Agarwal, and his team consists of Ornabo Bhattacharya, Lakshmi Shetty, and others for maintaining cordial relationship with shareholders. Ajay is always available over phone or mail and always ready to sort out any shareholder-related problems. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for putting such a dedicated person to look after the interest of shareholders. Sir, the board of directors of the company on 4/4/2022 decided to merge the business of 45-year-old father with the business of 28-year-old offspring HDFC Bank Limited. Chairman, sir, you were associated with the company since its incorporation, and subsequently the team became formidable after joining of our beloved Mr. Mistry, Madam Renu Karnad, and others. And it became a classical company with top leadership in the housing loan business, with cumulatively financing 9.3 million housing units as on 31st March 2022. And the dream run is continuing with recording of highest ever monthly individual disbursement in financial year 22, in March financial year 22. due to continuous pressure on NBFCs and NBFC housing companies by the RBI, I believe that the board has taken right decision in the decision of its merger with HDFC Bank Limited. And do you believe the other NBFC housing finance companies will follow your example in this regard in the coming years after the year? Do you believe that? And sir, I have some queries relating to audited accounts and other matters, and as usual, seek your indulgence. Not take too much time, but seek your indulgence to some extent. Sir, our dream run as regards the recording of highest ever monthly individual disbursement took place in March 2022. Whether the same dream run is continuing in the current period also, in the current Q1 of financial year 23 also. And what is your expectation from the remaining part of the year? And sir, we used to sell loans to HDFC Bank Limited. Whether after the announcement we will stop doing that or it will continue as usual. We used to sell housing loans to the HDFC Bank. And sir, we have a massive deposit of 1,60,900 crores as on 31st March 2022. Whether we are continuing in accepting deposits or whether we stopped accepting these deposits as on date. Whether we are still continuing before the NCLT meeting or we have actually discontinued receiving that after 1st April 2023. 22. I want to know in this regard and your viewpoint in this regard, sir. And sir, as mentioned in page 29, that the company has put in place a risk-based internal audit policy and appointed Mr. Arjun Gupta as the head of internal audit as instructed by the RBI. And the good thing is that RBI said it will start from 30th June 2000, after 30th June 2022. But our company appointed much earlier than this. This is the difference between our HDFC management and other companies. And whether they will supplement the external auditor in this regard, the internal auditor Arjun Gupta will supplement the statutory auditor in this regard. And sir, we have noted that the HDFC, our company decreased its stake in HDFC Argo General Insurance Company Limited by selling 44,12,000 equity shares to Argo International AG in order to make our stake to 49.9%. In this regard, I want to know whether regulatory authority approved the sale of 4.99% of the HDFC Argo shares till the date purchased by the HDFC Bank till date, whether they approved it. And it appears, though it budget related, I am not insisting for reply. It appears if RBI approves it, then again it will become a subsidiary after the merger. And sir, whether our company will continue with our investment in Yes Bank Limited. We invested in 100 crore shares of Yes Bank Limited, and the embargo will open on 30th March 2023. Whether we will continue with it or we will sell the investment after the embargo is over. And sir, note 18.3, page 212, the company raised 6,100 crores under MTN program during the year. The bonds are unsecured and currency risk is to be borne by the investor. Does it mean that it has predetermined rate of payment? Does it mean, because you said the currency risk will be borne by the investor alone. It's an unsecured debt and currency risk will be. Does it mean that it's a predetermined rate? Whether it is being traded regularly at the London Stock Exchanges? And sir, what is the present status of synthetic rupee denominated bonds, balance of 1,800 crores as on 31st March 2022? Whether we repaid the amount as on date or whether we want to continue it. Sir, what is the present status of charges satisfaction as mentioned in the note 18.5 in page 212 by ROC Mumbai? It appears the company submitted all the documents regarding 365 crore NCDs, I think. But ROC Mumbai has not taken the steps in this regard. What steps the company is taking? Because this type of note in a HDFC looks very bad. Looks very bad. I hope company will take appropriate steps for its recording by the ROC.
Mr. Majumdar, may we request you to please complete
No,
your
I
question
already asked
a
for
little
some.
further?
Sam, I think I am going to take 1.5 minutes more. Nothing more than that.
Okay,
And
sir.
in your letter
Thank you.
to us, you lamented for less mortgage penetration in India at 13% of GDP. We want to know your view in this regard in the next 5 years. And sir, banks, NBFC, housing loan companies are pressing the government RBI for compulsory insurance of the loan amount, housing loan amount. And last year you mentioned it in your letter to us. What is the thinking in this respect as on date? Do you believe that the government or regulatory authorities will make it mandatory in the coming years or within a short period of time? And whether the resignation of Renu Sood Karnad as the director of as the director of Unitech Limited accepted by the AFA department as on date. And sir, the corporation completed the sale of equity shares of Good Host Spaces Limited, Private Limited, and it ceased to be an associate company of the company. Whether this is being done, keeping in mind the merger, or it's an commercial sale. It's a commercial sale. And sir, we want Argo listing before the merger took place. Because Argo there are ICICI listed, it's a company, but general insurance, but not our company, though we are in the business for a long time. I want to know your thinking in this regard. Is there any possibility of its listing in the near future within 1 year or 2 years? And sir, no CSR, being a Calcuttan, what pained me a lot, that the company is not doing any CSR work in Calcutta or in West Bengal. Though you have a presence, though small presence in it. I hope, Parik Saab, you will look into it. And lastly, one thing, shareholders are saying about the bonus issue. Because the exchange ratio is already being announced. 42 shares of HDFC Bank against 25 shares of HDFC Limited in the merger. So is there any possibility? I want to know, because all of you, Mr. Mistry, you are all leading accountant. Sir, is there any possibility of issue of bonus shares? Otherwise, the exchange ratio will change. Na? Everybody is asking for bonus shares. And thank you all for patient hearing, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from Mr. Bharat Shah. Please proceed with your question.
दीपक भाई आवाज आ रही है ना हमारी आवाज आ रहा है ना मेरा
Yes sir, we can hear you.
माननीय चेयरमैन श्री दीपक भाई रेणु जी केके मिस्त्री जी और अन्य मान्यवर डायरेक्टर सर मेरा नाम भरत शाह सर मैं आपकी 1 से 1.5 मिनट लूंगा सर मेरी कोई क्वेरी नहीं है सर मैं बरसों से एचडीएफसी ग्रुप का कंपनी का शेयर होल्डर रहा हूं मुश्किल समय में भी आपने कंपनी को बहुत बहुत तरक्की करके आगे बढ़ाई है शेयर होल्डर को रिस्पेक्ट दिया है अच्छा रिटर्न दिया है डिविडेंड भी छप्पर फाड़ के दिया है सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मानता हूं बहुत अभिनंदन देता हूं सर सारे अवार्ड्स के लिए भी मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मानता हूं सर आपका और सर सीएसआर एक्टिविटी भी बहुत अच्छी चल रही है मानवता का कार्य है तो मैं बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन देता हूं और धन्यवाद देता हूं सर और सर मेरे पहले भी शेयर होल्डर ने बोला बोनस के लिए तो जरूर बोनस के लिए सर सोचना तो बोनस जरूर देने की मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है सर और सर 5 इयर्स के आपके फ्यूचर प्रोग्राम भी बताना सर और सर कंपनी सेक्रेटरी श्री अजय भाई अग्रवाल उनकी टीम के लक्ष्मी जी अर्नाल जी वैशाली जी को मैं बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन देता हूँ धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग टीम है सर हमेशा शेयर होल्डर कोई क्वेरी है तो सोल्व करते हैं सर शेयर होल्डर को रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं अजय भाई को कोई भी टाइम फोन किया सर शेयर होल्डर ने तो उनके पास टाइम नहीं है मीटिंग में है तो भी वो बाद में भी फोन करके रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं सर बहुत बहुत उनकी पूरी टीम को धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर बहुत गुड इन्वेस्टर सर्विस दे रहे हैं सर ये वीसी माध्यम में जुड़ने के लिए भी बहुत ये होता है प्रॉब्लम होता है सर तो बहुत स्मिता आज जो तो कोई फोन है वो कट करने जल्दी हेलो हाँ सर सर मेरा थोड़ा आवाज सर हेलो कर दो
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
हाँ हाँ सर आवाज आ रही है ना सर
आ रही है।
हाँ हाँ हाँ, अच्छा सर हमें अजय भाई अग्रवाल उनकी पूरी सेक्रेटरी टीम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद बहुत अच्छी इन्वेस्टर गुड इन्वेस्टर सर्विस दे रहे हैं मैं उनको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर और सर अजय भाई अग्रवाल को आप प्रमोशन दीजिए मेरा कहने के बहुत साल से बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग सर्विस दे रहे हैं सर और सर फेस टू फेस अपना मिलने का नहीं हो रहा है 3 साल से सर आपको मिलने का बहुत रूबरू में मन कर रहा है सर तो कोई गेट टुगेदर ऐसा दिवाली के बाद हो सके तो करना और नेक्स्ट ईयर सर आप ये फिजिकल मीटिंग रखना सर तो फेस टू फेस अपन हॉल में मिलेंगे तो एक आत्मीयता का बड़ा होएगा सर बाकी सब रिजोल्यूशन में अब और सर आने वाले त्योहारों की मैं बहुत दिवाली दसरा त्योहारों की आपको शुभकामनाएं एडवांस में देता हूँ सर और सर सब रिजर्वेशन में मेरा पूरा सपोर्ट है सर थैंक यू वेरी मच सर थैंक यू वेरी मच जय हिंद सर जय श्री कृष्णा सर थैंक यू वेरी मच सर थैंक यू
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from Adil Polar. He's connected via an audio call. Please proceed with your question.
Thank you very much. You've been very kind. The whole secretarial team of HDFC has been very kind, and they have been keeping in touch with us throughout the year, not only during the AGM. And actually, they are the link between the company and the shareholder, which has, I mean, HDFC is my sort of like a Bapdada no share. What do you call it? I mean, my father bought it, and I bought it, and my children have it also. So, Mr. Deepak Parekh, thank you for everything. And please record that I am proposing or seconding resolution number 6. It should be on record. Huh? I will ask the company secretary to send me Mr. Deepak Parekh, at least say something so I can know that you're listening and you're hearing me. Hello.
Adil, we can hear clearly, but now there is no.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. No, because you see, this is now only audio. So I don't know. I mean, you're smiling. I don't know the color of your tie. I don't know anything. Anyway, so and I remember now. I mean, I think yours was I don't know. HDFC was Raymond House or something house. And then after that, there was a building, ICICI building next to I think Hindustan Lever, and on the 4th or 5th floor, your uncle or whoever it is many years back, there was one not HDFC, there was ICICI. IDD and IFCI. So during my second or third year of IIT Bombay, they used to call us and we used to have a meeting on that top flight. I forget, I am also becoming old now. And I mean, that is all history. So do you remember we used to have meetings every month? They used to call us, even the engineering staff, they used to, and we used to have, there were some lecture talks going on over there at that particular point in time.
No,
I'm talking about 1972, 73.
I remember you, Adil, very clearly.
And resolution number 6, don't forget. Company secretary, please put my name as proposed. Somebody already proposed and I am the seconder. And it should be recorded. And I mean, that's it. And I mean, I hope our merger, like, I mean, as you mentioned, the son taking over the business from the father. HDFC Bank taking over the business from HDFC. And so now there will be only HDFC Bank now. For whatever, I mean, you know best. Under the circumstances, you know best what is to be done. And I hope our HDFC Bank shares go on because, you know, that merger between Group Finance and that Bandhan Bank has been actually a failure as far as the Group Finance is concerned. I mean, thank Keki Mystery also. So, Deepak Parekh and Keki Mystery, all both stalwarts. Okay, sir, I will not take much time. Thank you.
Thank you, Adil.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Welcome, you're always welcome, sir.
Thank you. We will take our next question. That's from Manoj Kumar Gupta. Please proceed with your question.
Hello, sir. Respected Chairman, Board of Directors, fellow shareholders. My name is Manoj Gupta. I am equity shareholder of HDFC Limited. And I have a great respect and regard for Mr. Parekh and his leadership and his captaincy. And I thanks to our beloved MD, Mrs. Renu Sood Kannad. We are missing her in Calcutta. where Shiva's in board in two Calcutta's companies. We do that. So, and sir, I thanks to your MD and his her team for excellent result and good dividend for the year 2021-22 in the deprived market and the bad condition of the world. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Manojji, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. And sir, thanks for merger plan that our bank will be the second largest bank in the country after the state bank. I thanks to you and your board to take this decision to merge the HDFC with bank to bring the HDFC bank is the second largest bank of the country. So this is a good. It shows that how you think about the corporate companies and how think you about the employees and the investors. That shows you आपकी दूरदर्शिता और आपकी भविष्य की आशाओं को दिखाता है कि आप क्या कर सकते हैं. इसीलिए लोग आज आपकी लीडरशिप को और आपके आपके and I do not suggest to issue the bonus because do not issue any bonus. Just merger ratio can be you can consider that should be considered if possible. And sir, I thanks to your for your CSR work throughout the country to help the pupils, society and community to save the pupils from the COVID-19. And sir, do not. I suggest you one thing, if you don't mind. Do not take any hard action against the defaulter of in the property flat. Those have get the loan for flat in during this epidemic COVID-19 because someone has lost their husband of a single earning person of the family. So ask the pupils to do not take any hard action and reschedule their loan and EMI, sir. It's my humble submission to you because your type kind people and genius people can do in the interest of several pupils. And last but least, I will tell you one thing. I have a great respect to you, but I am very sorry to say you, sir. In last December, I visited Rahman House in Mumbai to meet the company secretary. Your receptionist told me that he do not meet with the peoples. I surprised to see here that how the company secretary is not meeting the people, sir. And thanks to you, and I always pray to God for your healthy and prosperous, safe, long life. And I request you lead the company group for next 25 years again. Thank you.
Thank you, Manojji. Thank you.
Thank you. We will take our next question. That's from Yusuf Yunus Rangwala. He's connected via an audio call. Please proceed to the question.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Can you have my voice, sir? Deepak, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Speaking from Mumbai.
Yeah.
हाँ सर दीपक साहब बोलो आवाज आवे जी साहब गुड आफ्टरनून सर दीपक साहब आवाज आवे जी
यस यस
हाँ सर अपनी सर बैलेंस शीट हाँ सर यस सर आई रिसीव एक्सीलेंट बैलेंस शीट सर दैट इज a 452 pages sir that is a very colorful very I am very happy that our company secretary Mr. Ajay Agarwal sir who is a very handsome hard working secretary sir ऐसा सेक्रेटरी सर कभी हमने नहीं देखा सर इतनी अच्छी कंपनी में सर इज ए वेरी हार्ड वर्किंग सेक्रेटरी सर आज अपने HDFC में सर वी आर इन द बिजनेस ऑफ लोन सर लोन बिजनेस में भी इतना अच्छा होल्ड है हाउसिंग में भी अपना अच्छा होल्ड है सर और सर अपने रिटू मैडम कोरस टीम की जो टीम है उनके लिए भी सर जितना धन्यवाद दो उतना कम है सर कोरस टीम की फुल टीम और सर अपना टोटल 12 सर अपना सब्सिडी है सर ये आने के बाद ये सब्सिडी का क्या होगा सर वेदर अपनी कंपनी में आएंगी बैंक में आएगा ये कैसा होगा सर ये मैं जानना चाहता हूँ और कोविड-19 में अपने एनीबडी इफेक्ट सर आई वुड लाइक टू नो एंड टोटल नंबर ऑफ स्टाफ जो अपने मर्जिंग के साथ बैंक में जाएंगे उससे क्या होगा सर टोटल नंबर ऑफ स्टाफ इसमें और आपका बैंक में जाने के बाद क्या मतलब इसका टोटल नंबर ऑफ कितना होएगा सर और मर्जिंग के लिए सर 1 से 2 साल 1 to 2 years होएगा सर ये दिस इज a 45th एनुअल जनरल मीटिंग सर आई एम विशिंग a very happy this 45th सर नेक्स्ट ईयर विल बी 46th एनुअल जनरल मीटिंग सर अभी 3 साल हुआ अपना कोरोना तो नहीं जा रहा है अभी सर नेक्स्ट ईयर आप फिजिकल मीटिंग करिए तो मेरा हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट है सर दीपक साहब તમારી તબિયત સર દીપક સાહેબ તમારે જે બીજી ટાઈમે ત્રીજી ટાઈમ તમારા સાથે વાત કરું છું સાહેબ मैं घणो खुश છું સાહેબ તમારે દીપક સાહેબ તમે જ્યાં હો જે તમારું નામ જ દીપક છે સર દીપક મતલબ દીપક ચમકવું સર તમારું નામ જ દીપક છે આજે કંપનીમાં તમે જ્યાં હો જો સાહેબ એ કંપનીને સર બહુ બેલેન્સ શીટ કાને કે સહી જાય સર થેન્ક यू वेरी मच एंड आई गॉड ब्लेस एंड ऑल्सो थैंक्स अवर लक्ष्मी मैडम हु इज ए वेरी हार्ड वर्किंग सर उनको भी फोन आया था उनकी तरफ से भी फोन आया था वो डिविडेंड आपने 56 फाड़ के दिया सर 2 रुपए के शेयर पे आपने 30 रुपया डिविडेंड दिया सर ये इतना कोई अच्छा डिविडेंड नहीं देता सर फाइनेंस कंपनी में सर वी आर द लीडर इन दिस फाइनेंस कंपनी और वी आर एट नंबर 1 सर and I'm very happy and I am proud to be a very excellent company shareholder, sir. मैं इतने yes sir, thank you very much sir. Jai Hind and sir,
Thank
Jai
you.
Gujarat. Please take care. Deepak sir, तुम्हारे yes sir, thank you very much sir.
Thank you, Rangwala ji.
Thank you. Our next speaker shareholder, Mr. K.S. Balasubramanian, has informed us that he would not be attending the meeting due to other commitments. We will therefore move to our next speaker shareholder, that's Mr. Hariram Chaudhary. Please proceed with your
Yes, please.
question, sir.
Yes, please. Is my mic is open. Can you hear, madam? Can you hear?
We can
Can you
hear
hear my
you,
voice,
sir.
please? Oh, thank you, thank you. Chairman Sri Ajay Parekh sir, and
Mr.
other large
Chaudhary,
directors in my.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yes,
but
please.
if you could mute your video, sir, I think your bandwidth is a bit low. So if you can just mute your video,
Okay,
that way we
okay.
will be able to hear you
Okay,
clearly.
okay, I will mute it. I mute it. So now, Deepakji and other directors, my name is Hariram Chaudhary. I am speaking from my home at Santa Cruz, and I first of all I thank company secretary Ajay Diwali and under his guidance Lakshmi Sethi for assisting me in joining the meeting. And my question is about CSR only. I request that please let us know who is the chairman of the CSR committee and who are the members of the CSR committee. How much amount we spent for CSR and whether this amount is more than 2%, and how much amount they spent for COVID affected people. Deepakji, I appreciate that when this 2% was not mandatory, even at that time I used to speak for 2%, and you used to clear for the board, and I still represent at least 1%, you could be successful in spending on CSR. I appreciate very much your concern for the CSR. Now, because of merger of HDFC and HDFC Bank, the loss to us will be that we will not be able to attend two AGMs. So at least pre-AGM meeting, there should be a get-together of the speaker shareholder so that maybe this is
Mr.
done by maybe
Hariram
division
Chaudhary,
committee.
Mr. Chaudhary, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. I think we will check your connection again and get you back in the queue, sir, because your voice is not very clearly audible, sir. It would be best that we check your connection and rejoin you to the queue.
Madam, Sunil, I will conclude because I will attend Indian Hotel meeting on a different mobile.
Mr. Chaudhary, I'm sorry. We cannot hear you clearly. We try to get you back in the queue. In the meanwhile, while we check the connection for Mr. Hariram Chaudhary, we would take our next participant. He's connected on an audio call. Mr. Hasmukh T. Vora, please proceed with your question.
Respected Chairman, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly. Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. First of all, regarding the merger, I would like to know how is the proposal received by the institutions, especially FII, the foreign institutions, whether they have liked our proposal for merger, because whether they have increased their holdings subsequent to the merger proposal. Then second thing, is this merger because of the NPA of the HDFC Limited, or it is some other reason? Yeah, I believe that NPA has a reason. And because of that, we are going for the merger. So I would like the chairman to give his views on this. Then lastly, say regarding in the past, we had so many unboarding of the assets. So many companies had demerged. For example, HDFC Life, HDFC MS, AMC, and all that. And in that, all the shareholders have gained quite nicely. But actually, there was one demerger, and HDFC Bank Limited had merged with this bank, Bandhan Bank. In that, all the shareholders who had put their hard-earned savings have lost heavily.
I also had put my savings in this bank, and I find that the value is about 50% of what I had invested. So I just wanted to give my view that that was not a proposal which has benefited all the shareholders. And lastly, this Mr. Agrawal and his team is quite helpful and gives all the assistance to the shareholders. So I convey my compliments to him. And lastly, thank you and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from Mrs. Humayun Pordehi. She's connected via an audio call. Please proceed with your question.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
you.
Yeah, Mr. Deepak Parekh. Yeah. It's such a pleasure to hear from you and speak with you. You know, now since so many decades we have been associated with you and you were a favorite of Beirut. Beirut loved you very much. So now I just want to, many people have said, so I don't want to say much, but what I want to say is that in our area, in Marine Line, Bombay, South Bombay, there are many towers by Ajmera builders. They are honest service. Now I want to ask you is, the builders have tie up with certain banks, with certain institutes for, loans to purchase flats. So do you have any tie-up with any builder for giving loans for purchase of flats? I just want to know that. And this is one question. And so, yesterday, your asset management team was so good. How they brought us to the speaker's platform. Same way today, sir, the Secretary Department, Sajid Agrawal, all of them have brought me the speaker's platform. I'm grateful to that. So, and do you have any, but are you pursuing aggressive marketing strategy for our companies, for people to come and occupy roads? So many banks are advertising everywhere. So low rate of interest. Come on, come immediately. You just have a click and you'll be given loan. So what are we doing in that respect? Our executives are going, spreading, visiting people in their homes, explaining to them, we want to know that. And I close, I do not want to take further because I'm the 29th speaker. Please do say about the MCAs also, how you are dealing with them. So that's all. I'm closing.
Thank you very much.
And wish our company all the best. But as the previous speaker said, I hope we are not the loser in HDFC Bank, as we have been losers in many mergers, in many companies. Shall I give you the name, one after another, about Vedanta, which merged with so many companies, how much we had lost. State Bank of India got merged with a power of 5 banks, and we had so much loss. So, since Mr. Deepak Parekh, we hope this situation will not arise with us, with this merger. Okay? Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question. That's from speaker shareholder number 30, Kushagra Jain. Please go ahead with your question. Mr. Jain, it looks like you muted the microphone from your device. Could you please unmute it and proceed with your question? Mr. Jain?
Hello.
Yes. Yes, please. Proceed with your question.
Yeah. Good evening to all the shareholders and board of directors of HDFC Limited. I, Kushagra Jain, am a customer as well as a shareholder. This is the first time I am addressing the AGM of HDFC. At the outset, I would like to say that HDFC is a well-run company with a strong management who sets the highest standards of corporate governance. I have a firm belief that customer feedback is very important for any company. If the customer feedback is augmented by shareholder feedback, I'm sure it will lead to a win-win situation for the customer, the company, and in turn the shareholders. Last year, while applying for a home loan from HDFC, I observed certain policies which are disadvantageous for both the customer and HDFC. Sir, as a policy, HDFC does not finance certain property costs such as stamp duty, registration, etc., even though the loan to property value is substantially less than 75%. In such case, the borrower has to arrange his funds to meet such costs by redeeming his investments, which might be earning a high return, and ends up paying taxes on the capital gains accrued in the process of redemption. HDFC loses the opportunity to earn more interest had the loan value been higher, though within prudential limits. I had got a response from company secretary during my correspondence on this issue last year, but I was not satisfied, so I thought I'll bring it to the notice of the management, and I'm sure management will again give its due consideration to my views. There was another issue which I noticed during that process. This is related to legal verification of the property, which is done by a panel lawyer of HDFC. I paid the fees for this verification in cash, which should be avoided. I am sure the lawyer wouldn't show this fees in his account, which is, to put it very bluntly, leading to black money by the lawyer. I suggest that the fees be collected as part of loan processing. That's it, and the management opportunity to speak at the AGM.
Thank you, Mr. Jain.
Thank you. Our next speaker, shareholder number 31, Mr. Irshad Y. Modi, had registered but has not connected to this meeting. We will therefore move to our next speaker shareholder, Mr. J. Sangvi. Please proceed with your question, sir.
Yeah, respected Chairman Deepak Parekh, Vice Chairman K.K. Mistry, and Managing Director Renuji, and Board of Directors. And Sir Ajay Agrawal, Company Secretary. सर मुझे आपसे इतनी विनंती है कि जिस तरह से अजय अग्रवाल वेरी डाउन टू अर्थ है, हाँ, मिक्सिंग नेचर है, अभी कोई फोन करे तो अच्छी तरह से बात कर लेते हैं. सर मुझे आपसे कई सालों से मिलना था दीपक जी, मैं मिल नहीं पा रहा हूँ आपसे, और मुझे मेरी एज 76 है. मैं 1978 में शेयर होल्डर बना था, तभी मैंने पेट्रोल रोड पे अपना खुद का फ्लैट लिया था, तभी मैं HDFC बैंक का शेयर होल्डर भी बन गया था, HDFC लिमिटेड का. सर मुझे आपसे इतनी रिक्वेस्ट है कि ये मर्ज करने के बाद मेरे ख्याल से हमारे ओवरहेड एक्सपेंसेस कम हो जाने चाहिए, और कई जगह पे मैंने देखा हुआ है HDFC लिमिटेड नियरली 8 किलोमीटर पे भी है, तो मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि उसको कम खर्चा हमें लगे, इसलिए उनको बैंक को कई जगह पे कम करनी चाहिए, और कई जगह पे लंबे डिस्टेंस पे है वहाँ पे होना जरूरी है. सर मुझे ये पूछना था कि जब भी मैंने लोन ली थी तभी आपके यहाँ मुझे ओवरहेड एक्सपेंसेस बहुत ज़्यादा लग रहे थे. फिर मैंने कुछ टाइम के बाद मैंने छोड़ के वापस, मैं सिटी बैंक के 40 साल से अकाउंट होल्डर हूँ, मुझे वहाँ पे वापस जाना पड़ा. सर मेरा ये कहना है कि हमें, मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि हमें अगर बिजनेस बढ़ाना है तो सर ओवरहेड चार्जेस जो कम लेना जरूरी है, और इंटरेस्ट रेट भी कंपेयर टू अदर बैंक रीजनेबल होना जरूरी है. ऑफकोर्स पहले अभी ऐसे सिटी बैंक तो बंद होने वाली है कुछ महीनों में, लेकिन जो एक्सिस बैंक ने ले लिया, अगर हमारी HDFC ले लेते थे तो और बेटर हो जाता था. और मुझे सर ये कहना है, HDFC म्यूचुअल फंड में जो मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट है सर, जिस तरह से ABC का जो व्हाट्सएप पे अच्छी तरह से जो वैल्यूएशन आते हैं, इस तरह से HDFC म्यूचुअल फंड का भी वैल्यूएशन हमें जानकारी मिले तो और बेटर हो जावे सर. बस इतना मुझे आपसे रिक्वेस्ट थी और कहना था, और मैं सारे रिजोल्यूशन एग्री कर रहा हूँ, पास कर रहा हूँ मैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will take a next question from speaker shareholder number 33, Mr. Kirti Shah. He's connected via an audio call. Mr. Shah, over to you. Kirti Shah, could you please proceed with your question?
ये अनम्यूट नहीं हो रहा है मैडम।
सर आपकी आवाज आ रही
हेलो,
है।
अच्छा चेयरमैन सर, मैंने आपको एक ईमेल किया हुआ है, उसका आप रिप्लाई कर दीजिए। विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट, थैंक यू वेरी मच। काफी लोगों ने काफी क्वेश्चन किया हुआ है
अच्छा अच्छा
और उसमें मेरा भी थोड़ा बहुत उसमें है 10-15%, तो आप जरा देखते हुए उसका रिप्लाई कर देंगे। विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू।
Thank you. We'll take our next question. That's from speaker shareholder number 33, Mr. Harshad Savani. Please proceed with your question.
Chairman, Board of Directors, my fellow shareholders and employees of the company. My name is Savani HL. Sir, I thank you for sending me annual report. Sir, I am very old shareholder since inception. But since last 2 years, I couldn't attend the AGM due to pandemic COVID issues. Sir, it is very nice to note that our company achieved gross revenue of 47,990 crores and profit after tax 30,742 crores and EPS of 76 crores and highest deposit of 1 crore 60 lakhs 60,900 crores. Sir, you are requested to solve my following queries. Sir, what is the specific reason for doing merger with HDFC Bank? Our company is very transparent and having very good track record, reputation in the corporate sector. But I am very sorry to state that company did not took their shareholders in confidence and took a very such a big decision of merger. It didn't bother to take opinion of their shareholders. Market did not like this decision and share prices fall on from 4/4/22, which is a very unlucky day for all the shareholders. From the share price of 3021 52-week high, it has gone down to today 2152. Sir, there is some question. My another question is there is some changes in the share capital. Though explanation is given, but I couldn't understand. Please throw some light whether it is advantageous or against the future profit of the company. Sir, in profit and loss account, item number 1 into bracket 6, net gain on fair value changes 93,938 crores to previous year 956 crores. Sir, what is this item and what is the meaning of this? Item number 1 into bracket 8, income on derecognized loan 1056 crores. What is this income, sir? Please give explanation. Sir, page 192, unclaimed dividend, sir. Sir, unclaimed dividend is 23 crores 46 lakhs. Sir, it is very big amount, sir. We should, our company is very reputed company. It sends all the information to the deposit shareholders if they unclaimed. But sir, our how this 23 crores has been piled up. Sir, we should try to find out the shareholders and intimate them immediately, sir. Sir, our next item, there is a very big amount and this is go to the shareholders and company should take serious things in this. Sir, page 196, loan installment with interest 1,255 crores from 529 crores. Sir, this is almost double and needs to be monitored. Otherwise, it will convert into bad debt, sir. After merger, what HDFC Limited is going to do with their offices and excess staff. Sir, now coming to profit and loss account. Item number 33, other expenses. Sir, traveling expenses, it is 12 crores 54 lakhs. Last year it was 7 crores 80 lakhs. It has gone up by 60%. Legal expenses, last year it was This year it is 42 crores 55 lakhs. From 32.22 lakhs, it has gone by 31%. Loan processing expense, sir, it is 89 crores 30 lakhs. It has gone from 71.47 crores. It is up by 12 crores. And sir, director's fees, it is 8 crores 6 lakhs. From 6.92, it is 16% up. Sir, these expenses should be monitored, sir, and to curtail. Sir, before merger, shareholder of the HDL Limited should rewarded by lawyer to the all loyal shareholders by issuing bonus shares, because we have trusted you people and we remain from inception with you. Sir, at present there is no uniformity in face value of shares, sir. Some company is giving 10 rupees share, some is 4 rupees, some is 6 rupees, ours is 2 rupees. So, sir, in construction line, no builder can sell on super built up or car. There should be uniformity, sir. You are before you retire, sir. You take this matter with the SEBI that all the companies should have uniformity in the face value, sir. Sir, what will be the position of FD holders as bank after the merger with the HDFC Bank? Whether they will get the same interest rate, because the bank HDFC Bank will be having some different interest rate for the same period. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. San.
Thank you. We'll take our next question. That's from our last speaker shareholder. We've been able to reconnect with Mr. Hariram Chaudhary. He's connected via an audio call. Mr. Chaudhary, you may please proceed and ask your question.
Thank you, madam. Acha, so Chairman Deepak ji and other shareholders, directors, my name is Hariram Chaudhary. I'm speaking from my home at Santa Cruz, Bombay. And first of all, I thank the company secretary who had helped me in joining this meeting, Lakshmi ji, Ajay Agarwal ji, and all other secretaries. And I'm asking only about CSR. How much amount we have spent for CSR activities, and how much amount for COVID-affected people we have spent. Kindly let us know who is the chairman of the CSR committee and who are the members of the CSR committee. Now, since we are holding this meeting not physical, therefore I suggest that a Diwali get together may be organized of speaker shareholders. So this may kindly be considered. And now I suggest that for defaulters, a reverse mortgage can be, we can have a reverse mortgage for the defaulters so that we will not lose. And I support all the resolutions, including appointment and reappointment of the directors. Now I suggest one suggestion that we should insist upon the builder that they should have solar panels on their terraces, and we should finance these solar panels also. And minutes may be sent to me. I will pay the necessary charges. And I conclude by conveying my best wishes for all-round progress and prosperity of the company. My name is Hariram Chaudhary. Thank you, Deepak ji. My name is Hariram Chaudhary.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Any more speakers, ma'am?
So that was the last question. Over to you.
Okay, so I will just try and answer some of the questions and then over to Mr. Mistry. First of all, I'd like to that number of shareholders were very happy with our secretarial services, the service provided by Ajay Agarwal and his team. Even the board and the NRC committee is very appreciative, and the management, of course, of done by the secretarial department. And in the NRC committee, we always compliment and we always talk about the excellent work and the hard work that is done by Ajay and his team. On the question of Lakshmi, I'm sure Renu has heard the question, and let her take a call on what to do with her. I remember, I know her. She's been a very old employee of HDFC, particularly particularly the public deposit in our deposits department. So we would also like to thank Ajay for his outstanding work during the year. Now, we have been advised by our lawyers that we should not talk about the merger because this is not as part of the agenda of this annual general meeting. There's very little we can do because we have to go by what our lawyers advise. And all I can say is that it is not possible for now, as one of the shareholders said, it's possible for the board to consider the bonus because the swap ratio has been determined by two independent auditors and due diligence has been done by two legal firms and the valuers have given us a fairness opinion. So into account the reserves, the balance sheet, the provisions and everything coming to their valued judgment of the ratio. So any significant deviation like issuing bonus or rights is not possible at this stage. And otherwise, business as usual, we will continue housing finance company, the bank continue doing their own work until all the approvals, there are multiple approvals which we have applied for. And someone asked what stage we have made an application to the Competition Commission. We've applied to SEBI, we've applied to Reserve Bank. There are a number of departments within these institutions, with regulatory authorities which have to go through this case. This is a merger of a large size, and so it time pinpoint exact time it will take, but it will be somewhere between 12 to 15 months. But until then, it is business as usual. And we can discuss the pros and cons and all that about the merger when we have a special meeting which will be called by the NBFC for the shareholders to approve the merger. But we have got assurance from the bank and its board and its management that all HDFC employees will be absorbed by the bank. And you must understand that the bank only sources loans when we do the housing loans. So there is very little communication between our staff and their staff. In fact, this will be a positive thing for the merger. I think one shareholder said all mergers have been negative. My personal belief is that this is the best thing that could happen to both the institutions, and only time will tell. But please bear with us. Please have some patience because we are trying our best to see what approvals we can get as and when, and whatever the legal documents are, as we get approvals, we'll have to mention it on our website. We'll do that. So it is going to be a positive year, and we'll just hope for all the permissions to come. Even on the liability side, on the deposit side, some shareholder asked, our understanding is that our liabilities will be taken over by the bank and they will be serviced or paid on the existing commitments that HDFC has made. The resultant entity, which is the bank, will have to take on that liability on due dates, whether it is fixed deposits or term loans or any other liabilities. So also they take over the assets of the company. As someone asked, what happens to the HDFC office? There is no duplication of operations, and so the bank will require our premises, and we will continue to do mortgages from our premises, and we will see shapes up. So, and on the housing, let me tell you that we from HDFC, I have been optimistic future of the housing potential. Today, in my 45 years of service with HDFC, I have never been so optimistic about the future of mortgage business in India as I am today, as we've seen the growth of this shoot up during the last few years, during the last few pandemic years. And as you know, the penetration levels of mortgage to GDP in India is one of the lowest for a large economy, and some of our peers. So there's only one way the housing will grow, and that will increase. So far as the subsidiaries are concerned, we have requested in our application to the Reserve Bank to let them be subsidiaries of the bank. Now we'll have to see what the regulators have to say. Ergo listing, we looked at listing Ergo, but it's a partnership between a well-known German firm, Munich Re and HDFC. Now Munich Re feels that it is not advisable to list at this stage. We should grow the business. We should build this more. Consider listing at a stage, but this is not the stage, and we should build it more. And again, so I don't know if in the next 6 months or so. But on the payout ratio also, let me say that the payout ratio, we are not a multinational. Most multinational companies have payout ratios of 80, 90 and 100%. We are a financial institution. We deal in finance. We need to be cautious, need to be conservative, and payout ratio always ranges between 40 to 50%. And that should be the right ratio and not increase it and take more risk. Someone asked about selling housing. Once we merge, the selling of housing loans by the bank will not be there, because bank will write all the mortgages and will be listed on their books. Now let me see, on CMB mentioned that we have given detailed. We have a CSR committee. Jalaj Dani is on it. Annual report, if you see, there are pages and pages of details of where we have used the CSR. And I think Kamal mentioned that we have not given, Kamal or Manoj mentioned that we have not given any CSR to Kolkata. That's absolutely wrong. We try and equate the distribution accordingly. And if my memory goes, around 25% or so we have allocated to Kolkata and the eastern region. And the other point I wanted to make to shareholders, particularly Kamal Savani, asked too many detailed questions on which page accounts and all that. I would appreciate if you would write to us in advance, then we could reply for the AGM, because these are technical questions, and in these days of remote online meetings, all the papers are not available at the same time. We are not sitting in one due to COVID everywhere, and it's difficult to collate those information in a short possible time. One gentleman also mentioned about he was unhappy. He's a happy shareholder, but a borrower because of certain constraints he faced. Let me tell you, we lend money on repaying capacity of individuals and not on the asset value of the house bought. And in that in the cost of the house, we normally take into account the stamp duty paid. But I'm surprised how in your case it was not done. We'll have a look at it, but thank you for your suggestion. If the loan to value ratio becomes very high, then we don't include it. So it depends specifically on case basis. Now, insurance would be made compulsory for every home loan taker. We are not sure what the regulators will do. On the COVID, let me mention that most of our offices and the main office, head office and other Delhi and large offices, we have vaccination camps in our offices where we got a hospital to come to our offices, and not only the employees but the families of the employees have been vaccinated, and we had 2 or 3 sessions. We had a session for the booster dose. So let me now ask Keki if he has any of the questions that I have missed, some of the general questions I have missed.
Thank you, Deepak.
Keki, yeah.
First is Ashalata Maheshwari. She wanted to know how many schools we have and how many students we have across the country. We have 3 schools. Mr. Tiwari wanted to know about warrants. So far no warrants have been exercised, because the last date for exercise of these warrants is August 2023, and normally you would find that warrants always get exercised at the last 2 or 3 months. We have a total of 1,70,57,400 warrants that are outstanding, and these would be exercisable at a price of rupees 2,165. With regard to Credilla and Ergo, Deepak has already answered that question. In-house share department, well, the in-house share transfer facility was withdrawn for operational convenience, which mainly includes increased number of shareholders over the last 2 years, better software being available with RTA agencies for maintaining shareholders' database, etc. We will, however, continue to very closely monitor the services provided by the RTA. Why no masala bonds have been issued? Well, the reason is that the domestic market in India gave us huge opportunities to borrow rupee money at low costs, and therefore we've not gone to the overseas market to raise money through masala bonds. Ms. Lekha Shah wanted to know about the merger with HDFC Bank. So that Deepak has already answered. Mrs. Mascarenes, disappointed with the share exchange ratio. These have been done by SEBI approved valuers. Regulatory processes are in place. We are in touch with all the regulators to get the necessary approvals. As far as deposit agents of HDFC are concerned, we are examining all regulatory and operational procedures for trying to see whether we can engage these key partners in the bank, both for sourcing liability and asset products. Please give us some time to work out the mechanics and get complete clarity. What is the FI shareholding in the bank? It is 68.04% as of now. Current status of merger, we've already answered that. We made various applications and we are awaiting approval. Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf wanted to know about e-waste stages of our company. E-waste vendors who undertake proper e-waste management are selected. Thereafter, the vendor picks up the assets from the HDFC offices pan-India and provides a green certificate to the corporation. Last year, 18,706 kilograms of e-waste was scrapped by the corporation. Steps to increase disabled employees in the organization. We are an inclusive employer, actively encouraging the recruitment, development, and retention of people with disabilities. While recruiting, we have been encouraging manpower consultants to share resumes of candidates who are qualified for the role, irrespective of their disabilities. As of date, we have 13 employees with disabilities working at various offices. Steps to reduce gender ratio of employees, presently 3:1. We have been monitoring this branch-wise and encourage our business heads to recruit more female candidates so as to improve the overall gender. We have reimbursed the cost of vaccination for our employees and their spouse. And as Deepak said, we have also organized vaccination drives for all our employees and their families in our offices. Mr. Dharav Jamadar wanted to know how many branches we propose to open during the year. It will be around 30 odd offices. Capital structure in the last financial year. This is available on the website, and Mr. Ajay Agarwal would email it to you separately. Mr. Aspri Besania wanted to know what steps we have taken on unclaimed dividend. We send annual reminders to the concerned shareholders to claim the dividend, and we directly credit the unclaimed dividend of those shareholder accounts who have updated their bank accounts. Mr. Tamal Mazumdar had a lot of questions. His first question was, have we stopped the process of the bank sourcing loans for us and securitize, and we doing these loans and then selling them back to the bank? No, we continue to do that. It is business as usual as far as we are concerned. Same is the case with deposits. We continue to accept deposits. These deposits, as Deepak mentioned, will move on to the bank and will be serviced by the bank at the existing rate at which HDFC has taken the deposit. Masala bonds will continue post-merger. Outstanding masala bonds as of date is 1,800 crores, and it will run down in the normal course. Sale of equity shares of Good Host, whether this was on account of merger or commercial decision, this was purely a commercial decision. He also wanted to know how much CSR expenses we have incurred in Calcutta last year. It was approximately about 11 crores. Mr. Hariram Chaudhary wanted to know the constitution of the CSR committee. It comprises Mr. Deepak Parekh, Jalaj Tani, Renu Karnad, Srinivas Rangan, and myself. And last year we spent a total of between the 2 years, last year and the year before, we spent a total of 120 crores on COVID-related expenses. How is the merger taken by FIs? Whoever we have spoken to has been positive about the merger. The reason for the merger is most certainly not NPAs. In fact, our NPAs have been coming down, as you would have seen over a period of time. NPAs went up in the peak of COVID in the first year, but as you would see progressively, quarter after quarter thereafter, NPAs have been coming down. So it had nothing whatsoever to do with NPAs. Mr. Savani had a lot of questions on various aspects relating to the results. One question was why did dividend income increase last year to 1,510 crores? The reason is that HDFC Bank, that RBI had prevented banks or had asked banks not to pay any dividend in the previous year. Last year they paid dividend, and accordingly the dividend income is higher. Fair value changes. Fair value changes is really the mark-to-market gain on closing investment value. All details on this have been provided in note 29.4 on page 224. Now, just for the information of shareholders, as you know, we follow Ind AS accounting and not the traditional accounting method which most other companies do. And because we follow Ind AS accounting, we are required to mark-to-market our investments. Income on derecognized loans. This constitutes the loans which we have sold during the year. We have a mortgage sharing arrangement with the bank, which is approved by the shareholders, where the bank sources loans for us. We do the credit legal technical processes. We disburse the loan, and then the bank has a right to buy back up to 70% of these loans. Under Ind AS accounting rules, at the time of buying back the loans, we are required to take into account the upfront profit at the time of selling these loans. Unclaimed dividend we've already talked about. Why have traveling expenses gone up? Well, traveling expenses went up last year because in the previous year there was no traveling expenses at all, virtually, because of COVID. In the course of 21-22, traveling did start, and therefore you would see an increase compared to the previous year. Somebody asked about expenses. Here I would like to say that we have probably one of the lowest cost-income ratios that you will see in the financial sector anywhere. Our cost-income ratio stands at 8.1%. The reason you would see increase in 21-22 compared to 2021 is because 2021 was significantly impacted because of COVID, and accordingly various expenses, whether it's electricity expenses or traveling expenses or things like that, were very low. Total number of employees will be in the bank after the merger would be roughly about 1.5 lakh employees. I think this broadly answers all the questions. Thank you. Deepak.
I just want to mention a few things. Recently, I've been corrected that the National Housing Bank has asked housing finance companies not to include stamp duty, extra charges, and charges to be included in the cost of the house. And so we have stopped taking that into account. This was a recent amendment by the National Housing Bank. And I also wanted to mention that every shareholder is happy with the secretarial except Manoj from Kolkata. So Manoj Kumar, Bombay, please meet me and we will meet the company secretary together. He is the most accessible company secretary I have ever worked with. And the issue on CSR, I just wanted to add that a large amount of CSR in the annual report has been for COVID in different parts of the country. One person asked about tie-up with builders. Yes, we work with all builders, whoever constructs loan, because they are the suppliers of business for us. But we don't have any joint ventures with them. And Keki answered about the NPA. NPA is certainly not the merger. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, we have over 13,000 crores in our provision for doubtful debts and all provided from the P&L account. Yes, one shareholder wanted to know whether because of the FII selling out, the stock has not done well, but we are making to meet all the domestic institutions and all the mutual funds that are high net worth individual family offices and team are doing that on a regular basis. Unclaimed dividend is something, but it pains me to see the amount increasing year by year, and people just don't accept and let us know change of address, bank account, and it becomes a perennial problem. Most of our companies, we see every year the amount going higher and higher. It's a sad state of affairs, but we try and contact them, we try and phone them, we keep writing letters. Many of the letters come back that address is wrong. So we try our best, but unfortunately, our dear shareholders lose money, which they are not claiming. I think we've tried to answer all the questions. So with that, I would like to now mention that those who want to vote now may do so. The e-voting facility would be available for the next half an hour. The corporation has appointed Mr. Bhaskar Upadhyay, partner of Messrs. NL Bhatia and Associates, practicing company secretaries, as the scrutinizer to scrutinize the e-voting process in a fair and transparent manner. I authorize Mr. Ajay Agarwal, our company secretary, and declare the voting results along with the scrutinizer's report, intimate the stock exchanges, and place the same on the website of the corporation. The resolutions as set forth in the notice shall be deemed to be passed today, subject to receipt of the requisite number of votes. With your permission, before I call this meeting to an end, let me hope that the next meeting will be face-to-face and a physical meeting. If possible, we'll try and do that. Thank you all for your interest in the company, for your attendance, and let me once again thank our board members for being with us for so many hours and in attendance, full attendance today. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the icon for e-voting is available on the screen, which will redirect you to a separate window on the e-voting portal of NSDL. The e-voting facility will be active from 16:40 p.m. Hours IST and will be available for a period of 30 minutes. Thank you. Dear members, as instructed by the scrutinizer, we request all members participating in the AGM and who have not yet cast their vote to do so in the remaining period of 10 minutes. Thank you. Dear members, as advised by the scrutinizers, the time for e-voting has elapsed. This concludes the proceedings of AGM. Thank you all for participating in the AGM and e-voting.